think that we're live. Yes, it says I'm live.
I
What's
just
up?
found the weirdest Etsy store on the planet. Anyway,
Adeline is looking for a. She's frantically Googling for a swirly
I
straw that says the word
like this.
pussy.
So it's a thing where it's like the bendy straws or the crazy straws. Is that you can buy like custom ones that like spell out words. And somebody as a joke got one that said pussy, and it's very funny. But Google is refusing to understand what I mean.
Are they
It's
like customizable? You can like pick your own words.
yeah.
Oh, that sounds really
I
tight,
mean, it
actually.
could be dark
Yeah, that's what I
web.
was talking
Did
about.
you try dark Google?
Oh yeah, Adeline, try dark web.
Okay, I'm gonna open up a new. Okay, dark Google
Darkweb.com.
Chrome dark mode
Darkweb.org.
extension. Going into dark mode.
How do you get
How
into
do
the
I
dark
change
web?
Google to dark? Why is Google black? Can I make Google black?
Bit aside, how do you get into the dark web? How do you do that? And what does that
I've
mean?
been
Is there like an
trying.
interface? Do you have like a browser with bookmarks and stuff? Or is it
Yeah,
like the Matrix?
I think there's like a secret app that you got to get on your phone,
yeah.
and it's like do you ever have to install emojis before emoji were like the thing?
Right.
Like the first
It's
iPhones where
like
you
a
had to like
plug-in.
get a weird app, go into your settings. So I think you just go to Google and you go into the settings and you say, please Siri dark web, and then I think that works.
Hey
I'm just
Siri,
I
can you
can't imagine
find
like
the
who
dark
designed
web?
the interface for the dark web? Like who took that job and who paid somebody to do that?
See,
Like is there
I
like a
have a
search
feeling.
engine? How do you just like find stuff, you
Well, yeah,
know?
that's what dark Google is. But I have a feeling it's just like, you know, when you see like behind the scenes for one of your favorite movies from like the 90s or the 2000s or the 80s or whatever, and they have like the computer that they're doing 3D animation on it, and it's like the green text where they have to like type in,
Yeah.
please animate something, and then maybe something will come back out.
Right.
I feel like it's just like that. It's just that terrifying green text
Right, it's
that
the
only
Matrix.
means something to very few people. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And then you're just like baby teeth, and they're like, here you go.
Yeah, I was thinking more. It's like we can't even comprehend what it looks like until we actually see it.
Yeah.
There's like Thieves' Cant, where it's like any like tabletop
Oh.
game where you have to do Thieves' Cant. It'll never actually explain what it looks like. It just says that
Right.
you're good at it and nobody else gets it.
Right, or like the
If you
Monster
know, you
Mash.
So the work
know.
hasn't gone in to create that language, but nevertheless, there's a group of people out there who understand it and do bad things,
Am
naughty
I
things with it.
is this gonna be the stream where I sign up for dark web, where I get a premium subscription to dark web just to see what it looks like? I'm
Sure.
I'm googling what does the
I don't
dark
know who to
web
Said,
look
ask for that.
like.
Screenshots of
what
dark
is the
web.
dark web? Okay, I'm just gonna type into my Google search bar, Siri, let me into the
The
dark
dark.
web.
Hold on,
Siri activate dark web.
I'm seeing an infographic that says that 96% of all the data on the internet is on the quote unquote deep web, and I feel like that can't possibly be right.
I
Dark
feel like
web,
it's one of
deep
those things
web.
that's like technically true because people just back shit up all the time. So
Maybe.
like all the content that's on the normal web is also on the deep web.
I just found a Yahoo answer that says, can I access the dark web from my iPhone?
If you have to ask,
You're
you're
hiring a
not
hitman from
worthy.
your iPhone 4.
Yeah. Hey guys, I need to hire a hitman, but I'm also a millennial on the go, and I would like an app version, please.
Ugh.
There's just a lot of infographics like explaining what's on the dark web, but I want to know like what the interface looks like.
Is the dark? I thought that the dark web, before people started like selling guns and babies on it, I thought it was like,
And gun babies.
yeah, and gun babies. I thought it was just like all the data on the whole internet that's like behind all the browsers and interfaces and stuff. Like it's just all the data we don't see, and then people could like access all that and like change stuff. But I have a feeling that's not right.
Well, this
The low
infographic
paid.
um, breaks it all down, which is to say that most of it is drugs. Second is fraud slash counterfeit. I don't know what that means. just talking about fraud and counterfeit on like message boards, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yo, I made a fake dollar bill the other day, guys, and they're all like, "Yeah, we're criminals, hell yeah."
No, it's in the movies when they say I just wired this money to your account through 5 different banks. That's all.
Oh,
Dark
maybe
web,
that's it. Maybe that's
right?
what the
That's
dark
got to
web's.
be it.
Then black market sites, which is like, how is that different from any of the rest of these things? Because they're just
Isn't that just
selling
Wish?
Yeah, you'd figure that
drugs.
that would be all encompassing.
And then Bitcoin. I don't know why you have to go through the dark web for Bitcoin.
Wait,
Because it's
hold
just
on.
that great.
Wait, hold on. What's the difference between the deep web and the dark web?
I don't know. This says dark web specifically though. Okay.
Okay.
And then it's like okay, and then it's like whistleblowing, I get it, hacking, I get it, pornography, sure. And then there are two at the end that I really don't understand. First of which is blogs, which is like if you're
Okay.
trying to expand your footprint as an influencer, I don't think starting a dark
Yeah.
web blog is the best way to
Dark
do
web?
it.
Oh my god, no, that's absolutely what I would do. If I had any way to access the dark web, I would just do like daily vlogs, but instead of posting them to YouTube or Instagram, they're just all on the dark deep web.
And
The
that's
deep
Those,
dark web.
it's those underground like Brooklyn rock bands that don't want to ever book a venue,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Right,
they don't
yeah.
know why they don't have a following.
they only perform out of their living room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last one just says abuse. What does that
Okay.
mean? They're
Is
just
that abuse of the system?
they're
Is
just
that
mean to each other? Like
No,
abuse?
I think you know how you hit your wife? I think you just go to
You
the
hit your
dark deep
wife?
web, the deep dark web, and then you like make the dark deep web hit your wife like Terminator style. Like it turns you manifest a
Oh.
Terminator.
okay,
You-
so you're
And then
hiring
double
you abuse.
/ help : abuse Katie, and it just does it.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
the dark web
okay.
sounds pretty tight. We should get on the dark web.
We should get on the dark web. Is anybody have a subscription for the dark web that we can just kind of mooch off of? You know, like how on Netflix, like your girlfriend and all her friends have an account on your Netflix. Let's just do that to somebody's dark web account.
How do you guys like the stream interface right now? Do you like the vibe?
It's really good. I don't know why you thought I wouldn't
check
like
it out.
this, Jackson. It's all relevant. That's all I ask. I
Okay.
think it's great.
All right,
My
that's,
needs
that's
are so
good.
few.
It's really hard to find transparent GIFs. These were basically the only Star Wars ones I could find that weren't like, like 2 frames sort of alternating back and
Is
forth.
there any way that you could take that Watto one and just make a copy of it and flip it so they're just pointing at each other like they're
Ooh.
having an
Like
argument?
the
I think I
Spider-Man
could do
meme?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can make Watto point. And let's see. Aha. Yes, there we are. And can I rotate it at all? It'd be fun if it was like just a little bit.
I do like just little Watto there also. That's also very
You
good.
can be you can be smaller. Okay, I can't really
You are
rotate it,
done?
but I'll make him Lil.
Oh, perfect.
Little Watto.
Little Watto.
Like Lil Bill.
What was up with Little Bill, and how long did it take you to realize that Little Bill was Bill Cosby?
I mean, I didn't know who Bill Cosby like actually was until I was probably like 12 or 13.
Yeah, I have to say that cartoon came out at a weird time. It's like, who is it? Who's the audience?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like they're assuming that you as a 4 to 5-year-old kid are like, "Oh, like
Oh,
Bill
yes,
Cosby." Like, you don't know who Bill Cosby is, you're 4.
Yeah.
You don't know the concept of actors yet.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
know who people
Little
are.
Bill is real.
You only know 2 people and it's your parents.
Baby R2D2, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
I always think it's funny when my like mom's friends and stuff, they all have children and they have like little girls and they're like, oh, they have princess. And it's like, do they, or is that just the one that you like the most, so she has it all the time? Because that's just the one that you bought the most of.
And yeah, I guess Little Bill was kind of pitched at parents more, right? I mean, not that it was like for the parents, but it was like maybe your parents would be excited about Bill Cosby.
Yeah, hey
Yeah,
parents,
it would
you
be
know
like a
who
way-
Bill Cosby is.
They
What if
like
we
the
just
Cosby
had-
Show.
I mean, that was during that period of time where parents were just like, no, I think I'm going to make sure I know everything that my kid's ingesting. Because
Right,
there's
right.
way too much Sonic X on Disney XD or whatever. I never got a chance to watch that. It was at such weird times of the day. I was always at school.
Well, yeah, 'cause they
Wait,
didn't
I'm
want you
sorry,
to
I'm
watch
behind.
It was bad for you.
When was
Sonic
this?
X? What?
When was Sonic X?
Sonic X. It was like during the school day when I was at school.
I'm thinking
I
more
only ever
like
got
in
to
terms
watch
of
it
like
when I was
what year.
homesick. Oh,
I'm trying to figure out if I have any frame of reference for this.
well, it's when I was really little and I faked a lot of stomach aches. So
Huh.
maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any specific memories of watching a Sonic
No.
TV show on television. Maybe that was just my cultural experience.
It's probably on when you were at school.
I guess that's true. I guess you did just lay that all out for me a second ago.
Well, you know.
I avoided Disney XD for a long time because there was just like, it was like the boy Disney and it had like nothing on
Yeah.
it.
There was
that
the
I
show
wanted to
about the two
watch.
skateboarders.
Yeah, and like not Johnny Quest. What's the one with the boy, with the guy with the hair and the talking dog? and
I
just
don't
had the
think
twin
that was
sisters?
Disney. Johnny Test.
What?
Johnny
Cartoon Network?
Test.
I don't know.
Was that Disney XD? I think it was.
Disney XD
Just say
started
it
to
was.
be a thing when I was like just starting to be a little bit too old to watch like the Disney Channel anymore, you know?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
it was for like preteen boys.
Right.
I thought they just played a bunch of movies. Like that was like the concept was like they would have like those more like adult-ish shows, not really adult, but like, you know, teens and, you know, all that. But I feel like they just didn't have enough shows to do that, so they would air like 2 new episodes and then like just movies for the rest of the day.
Mm.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
fair.
But
We
then
should
Clone
do a
Wars,
brand
right?
reimagining for Disney XD. Adeline, if you were in charge of Disney XD, how would you change it?
I would just get like, it's like 90s skater culture, like energy drinks. That's what I remember of Disney XD.
Right.
But then it just
Mhm.
became like Disney XD was just like the Disney Channel, but for preteens. And
Right.
so they got kind of like bland. It was like, we're Disney XD. Our theme is blue and green. It's like, but that's nothing. I don't know.
So you would bring in like Tony Hawk and the guys from Jackass.
And no, I would kick those guys out of there. Be like, get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
So wait, then what do you want?
So it's
I
no
don't
longer
know what I
extreme.
want.
It's
I
more
don't
like
know, 'cause
Disney
Disney
D.
XD implies a very extreme energy, but I
Yeah.
just don't think that their content was providing the extreme energy that their aesthetic like
Right.
promised.
But I'm
So-
saying we
so-
should make it extreme. We should make the content match the premise.
I think the reverse has some merits. I think just taking a step back and saying, you know, I think we're not able to get this extreme. I don't think we're worthy of the XD.
Listen,
And
we
then
kind of overshot
just moving
this
all
one.
the half pipes into a big pile, all the pogo sticks, and just lighting a big bonfire. And around that bonfire, you have Gravity Falls fans. That's it.
yeah, exactly.
It's just like, what if Disney was just like a little bit more
Just
mature?
Disney.
I think my rebranding for Disney XD, it's very simple. I would just update it. Instead of Disney XD, it would be called Disney Cry Laughing Emoji.
Ah,
Perfect.
clever.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Get the teens in there because they love
Yeah.
to text. Teens love to text.
Well, you know, it's
Yeah.
the updated version of the XD.
Yeah.
Like, nobody uses XD anymore.
there's
Or maybe
also
Disney Nya?
there's
Some neon.
we could sign Nyan Cat on for like an extensive TV deal.
Yeah.
Let Nyan
Yeah.
Cat produce like
I
4
think
shows a
got
year.
retired in the Bahamas recently, though.
Wait, what?
I was trying to describe Nyan Cat as if they were an actual real life actor, and I don't think I did that. I don't think I did that.
Well,
all right.
I don't know all these YouTubers and influencers, so you could have pulled one over on me.
Yeah. Nyan Cat? What?
Wow, he's real?
He's here? He's one of the new VTubers. Has anybody done that with the VTubers?
What?
Done
they-
it
Tried
like-
to pretend that they were Nyan Cat?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean,
Why
I
aren't
guess
people bringing back old memes as VTubers? That's a really good idea.
That's a good pitch.
Are like that you draw an anime character and you like animate them on your stream, and it's like you or your persona or whatever. Why hasn't anyone been like, "Hey, I'm Nyan Cat. That's who I am."
Yeah, you could be
This is
like,
me.
my VTuber persona is Charlie the Unicorn. That's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
that's who I
But
stream
it's like
as.
he's
And
like
that's how you
anime
get
and like
them, and
hot, you know.
Isn't the new Muppet Show basically that?
Wait, is Kermit hot in anime on the new Muppet Show?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I haven't watched it. But
I'm trying to
I
wrap
think
my
the
head around.
concept is that they're like influencers in the new like show.
Oh.
No,
So would
I
that make them
think
like
I
it
watched
wouldn't make them VTubers, it'd be like F-tubers.
Right.
Like made of felt
Oh.
instead of virtual.
I watched a few episodes of it, and I have a lot of thoughts about it.
How were they?
Every once in a while it was funny. Like every once in a
Ah.
blue moon there would be a sketch where I was like, "Oh, that was a good one." Like I like that one, but the
Yeah.
rest of them were not funny at all. But the
Ah,
premise is more
that's a shame.
like just like it's a sketch show, but the weird framing device is that like Scooter is on his computer, his scooter computer, and
Uh-huh.
he's like trying to like get everybody to send them their stuff so he can upload it to the cloud and send it to Disney. And he's like really frantic, and every time somebody
Okay.
sends him their segment, he clicks on it and opens it up, and then you watch it. So I don't
Uh-huh.
think I don't think they're influencers. I think they're just show business professionals.
Yes.
Yeah, they're professionals.
But
Come on.
so Muppets. So first of all, like the two like reoccurring segments are like Miss Piggy's like beauty advice like makeup channel thing,
Yeah.
Of course. Naturally.
which is never funny. And
Yeah, but
the
how do you
other
not do it?
one is like the Swedish chef's like
Oh.
cooking show, which is somehow never funny. Like I feel like the Swedish chef is the easiest Muppet to make funny. Like just let
I
him
don't
do
know.
anything. And it's pretty funny because he's got a silly voice and it's funny. And there's a sketch where Danny Trejo is there. It's like Danny Trejo and the Swedish chef in the kitchen. And somehow they managed, through sheer
not be
force of
funny.
will, to make that not funny, which I can't
Oh,
wrap
man.
my brain around.
Yeah, that's tough. Muppets have like a natural funny factor.
Yeah.
And Danny
Yeah.
Trejo does too. That's wild.
If
I
I
have to watch
could
this now.
like dream cast a Muppet sketch, I would be like, yeah, Swedish chef and Danny Trejo do a cooking show. That sounds like the funniest thing in the
Yeah.
world.
Print
It
cut.
is-
We're ready to go.
On
The
paper.
only discourse I've heard about the new Muppet Show is just either people being like, "Hey, the ABC Muppet Show," where it was like a documentary about them running Miss
Yeah.
Piggy's like late show, was actually really good, and we're all upset that it got canceled.
Yes, it was.
And also just people making fun of the new guy who's doing Kermit's voice because it sounds like somebody's dad trying to do a Kermit voice.
Oh
I don't think
no.
I've seen that subset. The
I've
thing
seen a lot of people complain about the new Kermit voice actor being like,
Right.
he does not sound like
I
Kermit.
completely forgot about like the 30 Rock Muppet Show, basically, the ABC
Yeah.
one.
it was good. It
Oh,
ran
man.
for a season and it was funny and I liked it a lot.
Fuzzy Bear had to experience microaggressions. It was hilarious.
And it was
Classic.
like one of the plot points was that Kermit finally dumped Miss Piggy because she's horrible and like got a new young hot girlfriend. That was really
And
good.
everybody, I think her name's Denise, and everyone hates her.
Yeah. She was just like a young, like skinnier, pretty pig who had like a super normal name. It was really funny. And like the cast
Well-
of Blackish would just show up in cameos like
oh yeah,
all the
because,
time.
of course.
Like
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne would just come and antagonize him. It was really good.
Well, speaking of Miss Piggy, we got to experience some good Frank Oz, didn't we?
Yes. So
Oh,
yeah, on that
totally.
note, let's actually start the podcast. We can start recording and get this thing ready to roll.
Shooting the shit for like 20 minutes.
Oh
Frank
yeah, I
Oz is
forgot that
incredible.
we're stealing that Muppets are VTubers thing from Tosh. She said that on stream
Oh, it's I
a few
don't.
days ago.
I
Oh,
don't
man.
watch Tasha's streams, so I don't know.
Okay, well she's in chat right now, so why don't you apologize?
I'm sorry, Tosh. Should I stole your joke? I
Um,
just ended up. The thing about TikTok is that you watch one video and they think that you like that thing. So now I'm stuck on VTuber discourse TikTok and I don't know how to get off of
God
it.
damn it.
Yeah, no,
That's the
it's
dark
not
web. You
fun.
found it.
I don't want to be here.
You found the dark
You
web.
found
Yeah,
the dark web.
the dark web. It's the TikTok side. It's the VTuber discourse side of TikTok.
So wait, what is?
I don't
Before
wanna
we
be
start
here.
recording, what is the discourse? Are they problematic?
It's fucking okay. It's like okay. So here's the thing. So VTubers, the person who controls the VTuber is not. It's not them, so you shouldn't bully them if the VTuber does something problematic because it's a
What?
character or a persona. It's not the actor.
Okay.
But then also, here's the other thing: is that every VTuber has a parent, and the parent is the person who actually drew the character. So they have a weird parent-child relationship, even though the VTuber can do whatever the fuck they
Wait.
want.
Okay, wait. So
Yes.
so the parent is not the person who's controlling the VTuber.
No, it's the artist who drew it.
It's
Sometimes
the
that's
real
the
life
same
person who
but
drew it?
sometimes it's not. What?
It's the real life person who drew it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the person who draws the VTuber gets to have like an in-fiction relationship with the VTuber.
Yeah. No, the actor does not exist.
Okay.
It's either a persona, or maybe they're playing a character, or maybe it's supposed to represent them, but it's different. So it
Okay.
could be that thing when someone is in cosplay and they say the N-word and they're like, "It's not me, you guys. It was
That
the
was
character."
just my
It's like
kid.
that. It's that exact same
It
thing.
wasn't me, Deadpool said that.
Yeah, exactly. Deadpool said the N-word,
My
not me,
son
you
Deadpool
guys. Come
said it.
on. I'm
And as a
16.
parent,
Don't
I
bully
have
me.
no
I didn't know any
responsibility.
better.
Yeah.
See,
You
you
need to
can't
punish
you
your
couldn't see
kid
it,
when
but
they
I
do
was doing
something
that thing where I
problematic.
like pushed my fingers together to be like, "Oh, I don't know. I didn't know the N-word was bad. I'm just a little kid.
I'm just a little anime
I'm
girl.
only
I'm
1
just
year
a little
old.
cat boy. I didn't know any better."
I'm a 1 year old hot cat boy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just
I'm
said the
just
N word
a
because I
kid-
don't know any
hot
better. I just
cat
learned
persona. I
English.
don't know what you want.
I don't think I know any swear words.
Dude, what?
Okay, let's start the show.
Okay, I'll start.
So
I gotta
Yeah,
pull up on this.
let's all.
I was looking for the segue, but
We don't have
We
one.
destroyed
Just
the
stop.
We don't have a
we
Frank
had
Oz
one, and
this
then we
time.
started talking about VTuber.
Okay. Are we all ready to start recording?
oh, I've been recording, so you can have all this mess.
Oh,
Oh,
excellent.
great,
Perfect.
Bless
So,
this mess.
what we usually do, Dan, in order to sort of
Uh-huh.
sync up, is we do one of those little improv exercises where we each say one word and make a sentence, just so I can
Okay.
line it up later. Are
Sure.
you recording, Adeline?
I am. Hold on.
Do you want me to start a new recording?
That might be best, actually. Yes,
Yeah,
please, Dan.
that's good with
Thank
me.
you.
Hold on. And now I'm recording.
Okay, all three going?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's go Jackson, Adeline, Dan.
Okay.
Doctor
VTuber
Was
listening
2
oh, sorry, I got distracted. The podcast. I know that's 2 words.
and
Maybe this is the problem. I keep
Okay.
getting articles.
uh
Let's start over.
okay, so yeah, start over. We'll start again. I like the beginning though.
Okay.
Dr. VTuber was, and then my word is walking
From
The
the hospital.
and
didn't
See
the
taxi.
approaching
too quickly to stop.
what did you say?
I just want Dr. VTuber to get hit by a taxi.
That's what I'm
Okay.
trying to shoot for.
All right.
I think you've done it. I'm just
All right, fine. Dr. VTuber got hit by a taxi. He's a little cat boy with a stethoscope around his neck, and now he's dead.
Now he's dead, and now he's fled. Hey, if you want any VTuber ideas, we got them.
So, what should the intro to this one be? I've fucking sung Star Wars music at the beginning too many times.
I know. I think it just has to be it now because I think that's how you've started every single one.
Okay.
What is the Star Wars music go like?
So
I can't think of it.
yeah, so
I've
it's
never-
sort
I've
of
never
like
seen a Star Wars movie.
Not a very memorable soundtrack,
right?
the podcast. Please listen to our podcast today. We promise not to talk about vor this time. We will try to not talk about vor this time on the podcast. Hi, my name is Jackson McMurray.
My name is Alan McMurray.
I should have broke out the keyboard. This is Cosmonaut Dan.
Hey, and this is No Nerds Allowed. And we're gonna try our best to not talk about vor on this one.
Oh God, is this gonna be like Godzilla where we have to censor it every time we say the word vor?
No, we just have to stop saying Godzilla because I have to bleep it out in the podcast every time.
Wait, no, hold on.
Now you have to bleep
I
it
come on the
twice
show
now.
and we're done talking about vor. That seems a little selfish.
Yeah, don't make that decision for us.
We had last time when we had Tabby on the podcast, we talked about Godzilla and vor for like a really long time.
Naturally.
Jackson, you have to bleep it out again. Stop saying it.
And the bit is that whenever we bring up Godzilla, we always get in a fight about whether or not the Peach from James and the Giant Peach is a kaiju or not. So we can't talk about Godzilla anymore. So every time we mention Godzilla, I have to bleep it out.
That's very good.
I'm sorry, I hate to offload
Now
all this on you right at the beginning of the
are
podcast.
firing now in response to that thesis.
All right, okay. I'm gonna set a timer.
Oh my fucking God.
Hey Siri, set a timer for 3 minutes.
Okay, 3 minutes and counting.
All right, Dan, what do you think? Is the Peach from James and the Giant Peach a kaiju? Yes or no?
This is going to take me the full 3 minutes, but
Okay.
I've got a very, very well thought out. I've actually written it all down.
All right, you got a filibuster.
Yes.
Thank you, Dan.
I don't see why not. Right? Like,
Yeah, there's pretty much no good reason why not. That's kind of my stance.
Okay.
I think no good reason why not always beats no good reason why. That's my philosophy.
Adeline, are you just having an aneurysm? What's going on?
Yeah.
Again, the Peach from James and the Giant Peach is not a kaiju because it's not sentient. It's a peach.
See, my argument is that the birds are controlling the Peach, and the birds and the Peach as a
But the
unit
birds are
could
all
definitely
regular
fight
birds.
Godzilla
They did
and
not
level a
combine
city.
to make something bigger. It is a bunch of individual small birds.
Okay.
And
Here's the middle ground. So, what's in between Godzilla and the Giant Peach? Probably a few angels from Evangelion, right?
Okay, sure.
So, just how far do we go? I don't know if you guys are familiar. I'm not. I kind of only just watched it in passing, but I know there's a big Raymiel diamond, right? It flies. Is that sentient? I'm asking.
Please
Not for
describe what that
rhetorical
is for
reasons.
me. I can't picture it in my head.
There's a big-
Hold on. Somebody in
big
chat
ass
just said
blue
that the
diamond.
Peach is a mecha, and I'm about to throw hands. It's not a mecha. It's not a robot. It's a peach.
But it could be a mecha.
But it's not. It's a
Well,
big peach.
It's
That's
organic.
it.
It's a
not
kaiju.
It's not sentient.
Yeah, well,
it's not
again-
a bunch of things combining to make one big thing. It's a bunch of individual tiny things controlling a big peach. It's not a kaiju.
Well, to go back to Evangelion, the show itself is classified as a mecha, but all of those robots are actually not robots. They're organic monsters.
Oh, so they are kaiju.
Or they're also mecha, and the three share an umbrella. So Peaches and Ava units and Godzilla all belong under the same hat.
That is a
Which
really
is-
interesting fresh take on this debate that I actually have not heard before.
I will
That-
not accept
That
this. I
that
will not
mechas
accept
and
this
kaijus
over.
are not mutually exclusive. I think I like that the best, if I'm being frank.
That mecha and
I mean-
kaiju aren't different things.
It is my brand. I do play this very famous robot on licensed Star Wars podcast.
Licensed? Is that accurate?
Yeah. Everything's going through. I get paid 500 Mickey ears per episode.
That's the
Yeah.
that's the timer. We can't talk about kaijus anymore, otherwise we will go to jail.
Oh,
Um,
God.
Man, I was just gonna get into Mickey Mouse being a kaiju.
Mickey Mouse is not a kaiju. Okay.
Okay,
No,
you got
no.
okay, but compared to another mouse,
Stop, or I'm going to send you both to
Fair
jail.
enough.
he is a kaiju compared to other mice. Compared to a person, he is not
Yeah.
because he's person sized.
I suppose if upon the satisfying the condition that I am a mouse, then yes, Mickey Mouse is a kaiju. But
Yeah.
seeing as that is not the case, he is
If
not the
more
kaiju.
likely-
I equals mouse, then Mickey equals kaiju.
It's more likely if you're a mouse and you see Mickey Mouse, you think that's a god. That's
Yeah.
God.
that is God.
That's how he got so much power, is because
I was-
all the other
was
mice
created in
think that
his
Mickey is
image.
the Lord.
Exploiting the work of all the regular sized mice.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Star Wars?
Star Wars. Hi. Welcome to a good podcast made by fun friends that you're going to enjoy listening to.
That have coherent
Or
thoughts
else.
and good sentences.
we've been working our way through all of the Star Wars, and we finally made it to Empire Strikes Back, the biggest, the most exciting,
Wait.
culturally the best Star Wars, and we're going to
So
talk
this is the
about
second
it
one.
today. Say again?
This is the second one. You said we got all the way through. This is the second one, right?
It's true. I mean, if you're doing a bit, it went over my head. I apologize. We have been doing them in chronological order,
Oh,
not
okay.
release
Gotcha.
order.
I don't know. I
If
just
this
wanted to
is a
make sure I
joke,
watched
it
the
was
right
not
one.
funny.
That's all.
Continuing on.
I'm not very familiar with the Star Wars,
Yeah.
so
Adeline and I watched Attack of the Clones, and we just got confused and thought it was called Empire Strikes Back.
no. Rather, I might have done that, but I didn't. Thank God that I
Oh,
didn't.
no.
So we did the prequels, and then we did Rogue One and Solo, and then now we're doing the original ones. And we still haven't decided if we're going to do episodes about The Mandalorian yet or not. Anyway.
What we should do, Jackson, is we should just have an episode where you describe the Mandalorian to me,
Yeah,
just like shot for shot, and I'll just be the whole episode.
the Baby Yoda highlight reel.
Yeah.
Okay, so this movie in particular is fascinating to me because not in terms of the canon storyline, but in terms of real life time, the time of the real world. This is the first Star Wars movie that was not directed by... Oh, wait, I'm confused now. This was not directed by George Lucas. I was going to say it was the first one that was not directed by George Lucas, which is true, but in my brain, the prequels were still coming before. Anyway.
You did that 100% to yourself, I hope you know.
Yeah, I know. So, this was the first one that George Lucas didn't direct. Because famously, George Lucas is a super shitty director and hates
Yep.
working with actors.
Right.
We spent a lot of time talking about this in the last episode, where
Just putting George Lucas straight in the toilet,
like
where
just
he
that
belongs.
George Lucas doesn't know how to communicate to people like what he wants out of a performance, so he would always just tell people like faster, louder, bigger, more intense, do more, be more exciting, and
Right.
everyone just hated him. Like it was like
Right.
a horrible set experience, and nobody knew what he wanted.
Right.
So, which led to George Lucas making the fairly self-aware decision to be like, okay, look, I'm going to write this one and I'm going to produce this one, but I'm going to let somebody else talk to the actors because I can't fucking do it.
Right.
And I feel like that comes through in this movie. I feel like the performances between the original Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back are
Mhm.
way better. Like,
Yeah, nobody feels like a whiny kid in this movie.
yeah, because like in the original Star Wars, it feels... I've said it before, but like that just feels like a movie where people were told faster, louder, more all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like this movie feels like it has so much more nuance and actual intentionality behind all of the acting decisions being made.
Intention is definitely the word. I mean, like, I was gonna get to it earlier. I mean, New Hope is my favorite Star Wars film
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah.
I recognize that it's extremely rough, and yeah, like the whole just act better does come out a lot.
Right, yeah.
But it's just like this beautiful mess that I really enjoy because it's just so vacuous
Right.
that my brain wants to fill in, all the gaps there, and I can do that. I'm also a big fan of wide open spaces in Star Wars.
Mm.
I don't actually really like a lot of the close quarters stuff because
Right.
normally it is a act better kind of situation, except for this one. This one, there's a lot more going on, like acting wise and character wise. But
Mhm.
like the wide open spaces of Tatooine's desert and like the wide open spaces of Hoth in this one, like they're really gripping. Like
Right.
the idea of exposure, like
Mhm.
dying of exposure and the dangers of like the environment. I feel like those just took a back seat after the original trilogy.
Right.
Like,
I was going to say,
yeah,
this movie is fairly sort of claustrophobic a lot of the time. Like,
yeah,
Hoth aside, it's like you're in the Millennium Falcon, or you're in like the hallways of Bespin, or you're like in this like really oppressive forest in Dagobah. Like, there's not a lot of
Mhm.
right.
those wide open spaces in this one. Once you get out of Hoth, obviously.
Right. And then like you have New Hope where it's just like the belly of this giant ship and everybody's just running around trying to figure out what little
Right.
quest line to follow
Oh,
and
God,
which
yeah.
objectives to complete. And
Doing all
like
the side
it's
quests.
even in those tight hallways, it's just you feel the scale of the facility and how horrible like it would be to try to like go around and move around and do all those things and try to save Leia and all this stuff. Like it's
Right.
just
Mhm.
yeah.
I was about to say what I think is really cool about this movie when we're like in Hoth, because we have those huge like wide shots. Because this movie just
Yeah.
like starts and we're just like, go, we're on Hoth,
Yeah.
we're here, go, like, which is really fun. But we have those like huge like establishing shots of just like Han and Luke on the Tauntauns like going through like this wasteland. But then as soon as we go get to the base, the fortress, and they try to make the fortress big, we have these like big just like wide shots where we're trying to just show you as much of inside of the base as we can, like from one angle, and we like see all the people running around and like working on ships. And it's just so cool and detailed, but also like even though this is a huge space with huge things in it, it does feel claustrophobic with like all the people running around and like doing work and like sparks flying and robots just like going where they need to be going. Like it's at the same time like huge and also like compressed. And I feel like I do kind of like that in this movie in the second one that like everything does feel like a little bit more claustrophobic, like the force is oppressive or we're like just stuck on the Millennium Falcon. Like it feels
Mhm.
like pressure building up inside of a
Right.
can and then it's gonna explode in the next movie where we have to like deal with like Jabba the Hutt and like the Empire and all that stuff just
Right.
like all at once. Like it totally feels like a buildup of tension with just like, oh, we're stuck and we're trapped and we're retreating and oh god, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
The
I
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I totally agree. It's almost like just a funnel. Like all of Hoth is leading into that narrow passageway of, everybody's still, doing their own thing, but coming in on the same point, like just a big funnel. And yeah, I mean, it really does tighten up in the second act for sure.
And I
Well,
was
I
going to say, I
appreciate
love all the sequences that are like in the hallways on that base in Hoth,
yeah.
where it's like there's
Yeah.
that one moment near the beginning where Han and Leia are like in a big fight, and like
Yeah.
there are these guys that keep having to like kind of scooch past them and be like, "Excuse me,
Yeah.
sorry."
So
They're like yelling
funny.
at each other in the hallway, and there's like people just like kind of scooching
Yeah.
around them that I think
Yeah,
is
it's
so good.
literally like they're getting in a fight in the hallway at high school. Like
Yeah.
literally some guy like walks in between them and
Yeah.
they both have to like pause for a second while he like scooches through. It's the funniest thing on the planet.
By the
There's
way,
like
oh, go ahead, Dan.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, my big take about Han and Leia in this, I don't remember who said this to me first, but like a year ago, somebody brought this up to me that just like kind of blew my mind, which is that like, it's always seemed kind of weird that there's like, that like this movie just sort of like starts on the assumption that like there is some romantic tension between Han and Leia, and when that wasn't necessarily the case at the end of the last movie. And somebody said to me like, they definitely have had sex already. Like when this movie opens, this is like a few days after they had like a one night stand, and they're like trying to figure out what to do about that now.
No,
Like
absolutely.
Right.
this, and for
Yeah.
some reason, it just never occurred to me to think of it like that. But it's like once I like unlocked that, I was like, this all makes so much more sense now.
Yeah. Well, because I love. It makes me laugh at the very beginning when Han gets back and he's like, I'm gonna go talk to the general. And he's like, yo, general, I gotta get going. I don't really want to, but Jabba the Hutt's gonna fucking murk me if I don't get out of here soon and like deal with that. And the general's like, yeah, I totally get it. Like, yeah, you gotta go deal with that. That, like, having the mark on your head totally sucks. You go deal with that, and, like, Godspeed, and we hope you come back. And then we have this shot to Princess Leia, and she's just like, she isn't like this, but emotionally she's just got like her arms crossed, and she's like, like, she's so upset about it while everyone else is being so rational about it.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh. She's like, but no.
And then Han gets big belligerent for like the next 30 minutes where
Yeah,
he
gets
just
big
he's
mad.
super mean.
Yeah.
And it's so good because like I mean there's acting happening and he's actually like there's so many. What I actually really enjoy about the first half of this movie is how much is said that doesn't actually really matter.
Right.
It's all really, really good, you know, like these little interactions, but most of it is very show don't tell. It's all on the battlefields of Hoth and all these different things happening. A lot of it is just basically radio chatter. And then there are these little things where Luke and Luke's on his recovery bed and Leia does that kiss on him, which definitely is a fun perspective. In addition to Han and Leia have had sex already.
Right, yeah.
It really explains how nonchalant he is about that afterward anyway.
Right, yeah. And I was going to say, I feel like the energy between them, like in the first act of this movie, between Han and Leia, is just like, are you mad at me? I feel like you're mad at me.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, no, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you yelling? It's like, I don't know. I'm matching your energy. Like, just like, for some reason that neither of them can really figure out, they're just like hostile, and neither of them really wants to be, but like, they just can't like stop, you know?
I mean, I bet I'm. Oh.
I'm gonna
Go.
doing so bad at talking to each other, but I
I'm
also
sorry.
like the image
It's
that
me.
like Luke has like definitely had conversations with like separately with both of them about the other person. You can just tell that Luke has been dealing with their stupid relationship the whole time. Cause like that scene where Leia kisses him and then leaves, and Luke just like leans back like with his hands behind his head. He's just like, I don't fucking
Heavy
care
accent.
anymore, guys. I've had to deal with this for so long.
So, okay, speaking of that kiss, this is something I've been thinking about for a really long time. Because famously,
Okay.
you know, because obviously it's a huge bit. Everyone's like, oh, crazy incest kiss in Star Wars. But famously, these movies weren't necessarily like all planned out from the beginning. There's certain elements of it that they're sort of making up as they go along. I've been trying to figure out whether or not they knew that Luke and Leia were going to be siblings yet when they wrote that scene, when they filmed that scene. Because
I think the actors definitely didn't, because that's like one of the famous behind the scenes pictures is like that moment where they tell the actors that they're brother and sister. So I don't think they are while they're filming it. The
Right.
actors at least aren't in on it.
Because there's one line in this movie when Luke is flying away from Dagobah, and Obi-Wan's like, oh, he's our last hope, and Yoda's like, no, there is one other. And, like, presumably that is in reference to Leia, but I don't know if they knew that specifically then, or if they
No,
were
I
just
think-
trying to call their shot about something
I
general.
think
Bigger
the
Luke.
writers definitely knew, because we have that scene at the end where Luke is dangling and he's like, fuck, I need help. And he's like, Leia, Force, talk to me. And she's like, I felt him, I know where he is. Like, they definitely, if not brother and sister, I think they definitely knew that Leia at least was like a Jedi or sensitive
Right.
in some way, you know?
I'm sorry, and I just want to point out that when I said there is another, Dan said bigger Luke, and that's fucking hilarious, and I just want to make sure
I
that,
didn't hear that.
Yes.
That's
that
really
we
good.
drew attention to that. Thank you, Dan.
That's definitely what they are referring to. I mean, you guys have raised some good points, but they definitely mean bigger Luke.
Have you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
read the
yeah.
expanded universe novel Bigger Luke's Big Day? Because that's like really like where Star Wars gets interesting, if you ask
Yeah.
me.
Listen, if you
So-
don't know about Bigger Luke, are you really a Star Wars fan? Because I don't think so.
You really don't even understand what happened if you don't know about Bigger Luke.
Bigger Luke is
You
the
know?
key that unlocks this whole thing. I like to imagine
The key
Bigger
to-
Luke is like 6'5". He's just like pretty tall.
Yeah, he's not like a kaiju. He's just
No.
like a tall guy.
I also love, just speaking of the general hostile energy at the beginning of this movie, the way that Han and Chewie talk to each other when they're on
Yeah.
Hoth is also so fucking funny.
Yeah, there's like a direct relation between how mean Han and Leia are to each other and how they soften up later. And the same way that Chewie softens up on Han later as he's screaming for about 30 minutes of airtime of that movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Chewbacca yells so much in this one. If you like the
Just
yelling that
freaking out.
Chewbacca does, this is a good one to watch.
Yeah.
And I love it's not even like one directional, like right from the beginning. It's not like just Han being mean, because like the first interaction they have in this movie, Han is just like, Chewie, can you come down here for a second? And Chewie's just like, "Rah!" And
Fuck
Han's like,
you.
okay, Jesus, fuck, I'll come back later. Like,
Yeah.
clearly they just like are having a fight or something. Like,
Yeah.
They maybe have had sex in
Yeah,
between
maybe.
the movies.
maybe
Yeah,
that's the
I'm
key.
not
That's where the
definitely.
tension is coming from.
So I don't know if I'm pretty sure this is like I'm super late on this, but like the famous line, I love you, I know
Mhm,
thing. I always just kind of like because you see the movie and then you read about the movie and you see critics talk about the movie. You listen to podcasts where 3 cool people talk about the movie,
Yeah.
and it kind of just replaces your memories. Like you'll just kind of
Right.
remember the lines and not really the context. The whole them being at each other's throats, the whole beginning of the movie is the lead up to that line. Like he's insisting that, she does have feelings for him and she's like, no, just get out of here, whatever. And I never connected those two apparently until this time. And I'm like, wow, that's actually a super good line. I always
Yeah.
thought it was good because every time I would listen to a review or some behind the scenes stuff, they talk about how it was improv. And that's just my memory just took that one core thing and remembered that and didn't remember the context of anything else,
Right.
which is again why, viewing this movie and getting a fresh take on it is actually, it's better than I remember.
I feel like the original Star Warses are kind of unique in that way, in the sense that, like, it feels like every moment of all of them is so, like, culturally ingrained that, like, a lot of the time it's hard to sort of just step back and, like, watch it as a movie,
Yeah.
Like, and I think a lot about, like, obviously the big, like, spoiler of this movie, quote unquote, that has literally never been unspoiled for anybody since 1985 is, like, Luke, I am your father, which is also not the line. I know that's the whole thing also. Anyway, but it's like knowing that Darth Vader is Luke's father has never, ever had the same impact on an audience since
Than that first time.
Right.
Yeah, because like people just know. When I was growing up, I knew Luke, I am your father way before I ever was like watching Star Wars movies. But the one that people kind of overlook, I think, is the reveal of Yoda, of like Yoda being
Yeah.
a Jedi Master and not just a creepy little swamp gremlin. Like
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yoda was on my lunchbox when I was in first grade, so I was like, Yoda's super fucking cool. It's 2002 and the prequels are awesome. And Yoda is a noble warrior who's the smartest, coolest Jedi of them all. So when I was finally like 8 or whatever and watched Empire Strikes Back for the first time, I was just like, that's Yoda. I know what his deal is. He's doing a bit right now where he's tricking Luke. He's a real Jedi
Out of his hot
Master, and
dog.
I know that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
We've found it.
I have to wonder, like, if you don't know what's going on, like, what your reaction to Yoda would be the first time. Like, would it have been, like, this is a fucking Jar Jar Binks, like, this guy's so annoying. Is he going to be in the whole rest of the movie? Like, who is this guy?
Jar Jar Binks level, because he's like it's a Jar Jar Binks is a weird character because he's just like a guy and he's kind of a racist caricature, and that's it. That's all he's got going for him.
Mm.
But like the Yoda character is like this old man who lives like a hermit, who lives all alone on this weird alien jungle planet. So when he comes around, he's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm gonna eat all your granola bars." It's like, what's up with this funny little dude? You know, like it's got a way different energy than Jar Jar Binks.
But imagine,
Plus-
if you will, a version of this movie where Yoda wasn't actually the Jedi Master. He meets like a wise old wizard on Dagobah, and Yoda just hangs around and says goofy
Well, no,
things and
Yoda would
just
be the
eats
gay
everybody's
husband,
food
and
the
that
whole
would be
rest of the
amazing.
movie.
Well, then you get a Babu Freak situation.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
Even more like a Babu Frick than a Jar Jar
still
Binks.
well loved. What's interesting though is, in this movie you have Yoda and you get to see his antics, and then he shifts into his real role of being a wise gremlin rather than just a pesky gremlin.
Right.
But you have to wait 2 movies to see Jar Jar get important. So
right.
And by get
I think that
important,
is
we
definitely a
mean
bigger
cease to
part of it.
exist on screen.
I also feel like I think maybe like the most disappointing thing about the prequels is that like Yoda isn't a little bastard in them. Like
Right.
the decision
Yeah,
to make Yoda like a fucking like wise, stoic, like priestly Jedi
Perfect
Knight
person.
in the prequels is so boring and lame.
Yeah.
Like how
Yeah.
cool would it would be so much better if Yoda was like a King Boomy type where he's just
Yeah.
like he's still like powerful and like kind of in charge, but he's also just a fucking rascal all the time.
Yeah.
Would be so
Yeah.
funny and cool, and I feel like that's much more representative of like the Yoda we see in this original appearance of Yoda, you know? And I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
basically nobody has let Yoda be a little jackass since this movie.
Yeah, Yoda really gets treated really like I don't understand the prequels because they add this like whole new layer to Yoda. Like they basically make him like a priest god figure, like you said. Like he's just perfect and infallible and he's a genius and he's the epitome of good. But then the whole point of the prequels is that he sucks and he's wrong and he's bad and it's kind of his fault that everything falls to shit because
Right.
he just like doesn't do anything about anything. And then watching the prequels where Yoda is a war criminal and doesn't do anything and treats Anakin poorly and then becomes Darth Vader, and then watching this and he's a fun little bastard, but then when he's talking to Luke like he talks to Anakin and he's like, "Oh, if you question things, that means you're evil." And it's like, "Yoda, you kind of suck." Like, I don't know, like as much as I like fun Yoda, I feel like the idea of like enjoying Yoda as like just a little bastard man has been ruined because of the prequel.
Yeah,
Like that
retroactively.
like priestly goodness has been like, well, Yoda, you actually kind of suck. So even when you're a bastard and I love you, it's ruined.
Yeah.
Like
Aragorn
you're
in
the
chat
past.
says
We've reached
that
through time and ruined you.
Aragorn in chat says that The Last Jedi Yoda is pretty funny, but what I want the most is I want Yoda to be playing pranks on people and giving them a hard time. Like Yoda, he feels more like Empire Strikes Back Yoda and Last Jedi, granted.
Oh, absolutely.
But he's not like pulling one over on Luke. He's not eating his food and getting all up in his
He
business.
does do the one very good prank of arson.
I guess that's fair. I guess that is a pretty good prank.
Burn the whole tree of life down
Yeah.
or whatever.
Just struck somebody with lightning. It was like, got he.
Here's my theory. I think when Yoda randomly goes and lives with the Wookiees and marries Chewbacca, I think that's when he becomes a bastard. When he like
Right. When he's
just hangs out with the Wookiees for years and years
immersed
and years
in
or
Wookiee
whatever.
culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then he becomes a funny prank man. And then as soon as Luke's like, "Hey, you have to teach me the Force," he immediately just goes back into the "Oh, I'm perfect and infallible" headset, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I
It's
still
like an addiction that he can't get away from.
we talked
The one
about
thing-
this so many times on the podcast. Why did George Lucas feel like Yoda and Chewbacca were friends? Like, why was that ever a part of it? Why would you even think like that? Like, what is
Just had
that?
to tie those threads together, or
Yeah.
else they wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah,
Or else the prequels would have been bad.
And in the original Star Wars, Obi-Wan and Chewbacca like have a weird little moment, and it kind of seems like they know each other. But for some reason, George Lucas was like, actually, I think it's gonna be Yoda and Chewbacca that know each
Jackson
other.
from the originals, you can't prove that they didn't know each other because
Yeah.
they never met or spoke to each other. So you don't know. Maybe they're married.
I guess so.
They could be married.
I like to think that they're married.
One thing that actually really annoys me, also about the whole Yoda thing, is like we have 3 movies to flesh out in the prequels what Yoda his arc is going to be, and it is basically the same arc, like you just said. Like in Empire, he has his whole thing where he's a good teacher, but he gets a little bit removed from reality, I would say, where
Right.
he's just like, hey, you need to just clear your head and be this wise defensive monk. And Luke is like, no, I came here so I could beat the Empire. And Yoda's like, the what? That's definitely a paraphrasing. But but like in the prequels, you have these 3 movies where he's in this position of power and everybody's already looking up to him. There's no discovering him and no pranks or anything.
Right.
And he's teaching everybody, and he still has to learn this same lesson. I mean, he's never learned it, I guess, which is why it might be believable that in the original trilogy he makes the mistake again with Luke by pushing him away.
In Last Jedi, I feel like it's him finally learning that lesson, being like,
yeah,
actually, I feel like kind of maybe this is all kind of bullshit a little bit.
Maybe Jedi religion sucks, so we should stop doing it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I feel like naturally he saw how things turned out as his Force Ghost self when Luke was able to win and, use the Force in a way that I guess no Jedi had done before.
Mm.
And I mean, like, he probably learned it then, but I don't want to take 3 movies out of the prequels to have him do it again. Like, it should have it should have been this fun thing where he was too, like, lazy in the prequels. Like, he was too much of a prankster. And maybe he wasn't the head of the council. Maybe, for the first 2 movies. And, like, this one could have been like, oh, yeah, he's back. And, he's just up to his wacky antics again. And then, like, you get to, like, 65% through the movie, and then Yoda takes this huge shift where he's just like, actually, Luke, things are really, really dire, and you need to learn how to do this really fast.
Right.
Like, that would have been more interesting. But,
By the way, I also just spent a minute...
much serious Yoda.
By the way, I also just spent a minute Googling whether or not Chewbacca's wife and kid from the Christmas special were canon, and good news, they are. And there's also... his kid's name is Lumpa Waru. And there's a really good header on Wikipedia, which it says, this article is about the Wookiee who was nicknamed Waru. You may be looking for the trans-dimensional blob known as Waru. So I'm going to go ahead and click through that and see what's up. Let's take a look at this trans-dimensional blob.
And they are the same character.
Okay, Waru was a trans-dimensional being hailing from a universe parallel to the galaxy's own. His species differed from those known to New Republic databases. Waru was considered a healer by many... This is not as funny as I thought it was going to be.
A hell demon.
It is kind of funny because your voice is really going robot-y.
Yeah, you turned into a demon
once you started saying it,
talking about this blob.
I thought it was going to be big and ridiculous and funny, but this is kind of just a normal thing. Anyway, Empire Strikes Back, you guys. I'm sorry I just totally killed the momentum of this podcast by talking about a trans-dimensional blob.
And everything.
Well, I was
just gonna say I think that's the problem with prequels in general. At least prequels when you haven't planned for prequels is the problem. If you have a story that like has a beginning that you're not shown, it's like, yeah, make a prequel. But with it, I think it was a mistake to make prequels for Star Wars, or at least the way that we did it was a mistake. Because, like we're talking about, like, Yoda's arc is so weird and doesn't really, like... I think I would have preferred if Yoda was just, like, a powerful teacher, and he just, like, taught the kids, and he just, like, taught at the Jedi school. And then, like, I don't know, if he's, like, fucking McGonagall or something. Like, that kind of position where it's, like, he's not Dumbledore. He's not the guy in charge. He's not the president. He's just, like, this powerful dude who, like, does have some authority in that he teaches people, so people look up to him, but he's also can just be a funny little bastard man, and, like, that's not weird.
I would have liked... Oh, go ahead.
Well, it's the way that the prequels are set up, though, and the choices that George Lucas made, which were all bad choices.
Pretty much exclusively bad choices.
Yeah, they were just all bad choices. Like, everything that he did, it's like if you want to talk about, like, oh, we talk about, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, and, like, oh, they used to be Master and Apprentice, like, let's talk about that. And I'm like, hell yeah. But then the way that all the choices that they make are bad, and they don't connect directly into the original trilogy very well. And, like, Yoda's character doesn't make any sense, because you basically just made a different character and said that this is the same Yoda, though. This is the same guy, even though he doesn't act the same or think the same at all.
Right.
This is him. And it's just like, I don't. It's just, why did we make prequels?
What I think would be fun, because in the prequels they're always talking about Qui-Gon Jinn like he's this maverick, like he's the renegade, he's kind of the bad boy of the Jedi. But in practice, he never fucking does anything that somebody doesn't tell him to do. And every time somebody tells him not to do something, he politely doesn't do it. And you're like, why do you say that about him all the time? He seems like a pretty
I think
regular
there's too
guy.
much politics and bureaucracy in the prequels. Has anybody ever said that before?
But like, it would be fun if Yoda was like actually like the bad boy of the Jedi. Like you get to the prequels and he's
Yoda
the
with
one
sunglasses.
who's like always breaking the rules and doing whatever he wants and always getting in trouble with the council and like he's constantly grounded and like I think that would be a fun take on Yoda in the prequels.
Yeah.
Because Obi-Wan never says, like, he was the leader of the Jedi. He just says, like, he was a powerful Jedi Master who I trusted very implicitly.
Yeah. He's just a cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really just... There should have been a Jedi Council, but that shouldn't have also been, like, the learning environment. It should have just been removed, but, you know, church and state, whatever.
Whatever.
So one thing that that I really liked in this that I didn't realize the last time I watched was, speaking of Yoda and, you know, teaching Luke and everything, I always forget that, like, it's not just the first movie where Vader is seen as kind of like this, you know, like you said, maverick, like he's using the Force, and most everybody else in the Empire, they're just like, what are you doing? Stop with your magic. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And in the second one, that continues. I forget that even though he's like in a place of very like high power in the second movie, Vader is still at odds with like a lot of his commanders. Like he's still having to prove himself and prove that the Force is something to be trusted. There's that moment where they're like scanning for the ship or something, and they're like, well, they couldn't be on Hoth. It's probably just some other refugees. And Vader's like, no, I know that they're on Hoth. And they're like, why? And he's like, just listen to me. And then he kills somebody, and then they go.
Yeah, it's like, okay, fine, I guess. If you're gonna kill me if I don't do it, I guess I'll do it. Fine.
Fine, I'll
But
trust you, wizard man. Whatever.
And it's great because you have this thing where, like, this whole time, you know, in this movie, Vader is basically doing show of Force, where he needs to show, like, his underlings that the Force is how he's working.
Right.
And then you just have the same basic thing with Yoda. You have Yoda taken not very seriously at all by Luke in the beginning, the same way that like Vader's commanders see him in the beginning of the movie. And then Luke learns, oh God, he's for real, but in a more positive light.
Right.
Yeah, and
like
then Yoda kills him. And then...
right.
Yoda kills
Yoda eats a
R2-D2
live rat
and
or
shows
something.
Luke who's boss.
But yeah, I thought that was really cool how you had like those were separate in you know those like A, B, C plots, and they're happening like not even concurrently, but all still in the same movie. God, this movie's long. It feels
It is really
so
long.
It's longer than it should. Like it's not longer than it should be. It's longer than it is real. Like as far as real time goes, like it does not feel like 2 hours and 8 minutes or whatever.
Right.
It feels like a lot more than that.
I just want to talk. We talked a lot in the last episode about like the differences between the different releases of this movie, or of the original trilogy of Star Wars movies, and how much different stuff there is in like the special edition re-releases. And this one is mostly untouched, thankfully. I mean, for the most part, there are still some things, but it's kind of the one that George Lucas messed with the least.
Yeah.
But there are apparently they reshot the whole Wampa attack at the beginning.
Yes.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, because there was a different Wampa costume in the original, and they made up a scarier one.
Yeah.
And then they put Ian McDermott as the Emperor into that hologram, because originally it was just like a weird guy with cat eyes. And
Yeah.
then once they made Return of the Jedi and figured out that Ian McDermott was going to be what he looked like, they like put him in
They patched
retroactively.
Yeah.
And the other thing, besides that one super weird drone shot in Bespin, which doesn't fit, looks bad, is they changed a line where, so when R2-D2 falls in the swamp in Dagobah, and then Luke like gets him back out, or he gets eaten by that thing and spits him out, and Luke is like, "Oh, you're just lucky you survived that," or something boring like that. In the original, apparently he said, "You're just lucky you taste so bad, buddy." Just because,
Yeah.
it's a robot. Obviously that would not taste so bad. But like
Yeah.
the fact that they went out of their way to like remove it and like drew attention to it by doing something about it, like weirdly makes it feel like for some reason Luke knows what R2-D2 tastes like, which I think is really funny.
I mean, there are
because
these.
that feels like a farm boy hick Luke, who's just like, haha, you're lucky you taste bad, buddy. Like, haha,
Yeah.
wink.
Right.
Like, I like that, like, fun side of Luke coming out again. I don't like, changing it's just weird. Why'd you do that?
It's a good line.
It's like when they censor a word on the radio, but it's like damn, and you just hear the censored version and you're like, well, wait, what was the word? Like the fact that it's like just the fact of like censoring it like drew attention to it being
like,
weird.
did Luke say something really racist to the swamp snake?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. What did he say? Man, R2-D2, I thought that you had died, and honestly, I was happy with that thought. You're like, oh, we should change that.
just, I don't get it. Just if you really don't like the line, just remove it, or just don't touch it and move on.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's a whole other discussion.
Listen, George can't fucking handle it.
No.
But speaking of the Wampa
I have
scene,
to bring this up because we keep rightly dunking on George Lucas, but what blows my mind is that in my theater class we had this dumb quiz about directors, and it was like, which of these directors have gone to film school and which directors didn't? And it was like, the famous one was that like, oh god, I can't remember his name now, the guy that did Indiana Jones, or not Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park.
Steven Spielberg, he also did Indiana Jones.
Also
I
did
cannot
Indiana
remember his
Jones.
name. That was weird. Anyway, that Steven Spielberg didn't go to film school. Like, he's just a director and he didn't go to film school. But I got that question wrong because I said that George Lucas didn't go to film school because it does not seem like he did. And it blows my mind that he could get all that technical training on like how to be a director and how to shoot a film and still just have no clue how to direct people. Like, that's just so weird to me.
And I was gonna say, and I don't want to bring up too many points from old podcasts, which I feel like might just happen more and more the deeper we get into Star Wars. But like, I mean, we talked about it a lot. Like the prequels especially demonstrate that like George Lucas is a great like technical filmmaker when it comes to like the nuts and bolts of like choreographing an action sequence and making it all clear and designing things and making sure like everything makes sense in space. He just has this huge blind spot of like interacting with people. Like he just can't handle
like
it.
Fail that class and never had to make it up or something?
I guess.
Like,
hey, there's no school you can't cheat through.
He just paid off the teacher.
But okay, so between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, Mark Hamill got in like a huge car accident and had to get like major like facial reconstruction surgery. Which is like the main reason they wrote in the Wampa attack at the beginning. As if to like acknowledge that his face looks different now, like has something traumatic happen to him. So it's like, oh, they fixed his face in the story. But like, I never quite understood that because I've never really been able to pick up on Luke looking that different between the two movies.
No, he only looks different because he looks injured. I don't know, maybe like later in the film he like healed up more so it's not noticeable, but in those first scenes it would have been because the wounds are still like fresh or something. But like, yeah, like in that scene he only looks a little bit different because his hair is like all wet and he's like got like fake blood on his face and stuff. Like he like because they have him in makeup to look like he's been attacked by a wampa. But
Yeah.
I do think the way that this movie opens up is hilarious because like Luke just gets immediately hit by that wampa. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, hey, I did the thing. I'm gonna go inside because it's cold. And Luke's like, all right, bye, boop, and then he gets attacked by a wampa
Yeah.
just like immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his tauntaun goes rah, and he goes, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" And then just the fist comes out
Just,
of, like
Just
from the
like,
right side of the
"Rah!"
frame.
The one thing in this movie that I do think, like, not to be cinema sins about it, obviously, but like the one moment that always takes me out of it is when Han Solo is going out to find Luke in the tundra, and he's like, "Oh, there he is," and he like gets down and like helps him up, and then Han's tauntaun just fucking dies for no reason. Like,
Yeah.
what is that? Why did that tauntaun die?
They did
Well,
warn
it
him.
should
They
be
told
how
him it's too
it is,
cold.
Jackson.
But it's too cool. But the tauntaun are Arctic mammals.
No.
If Han is
You're
not
worried
dead,
about
why
their
would that?
safety
longer
because
than
even
a
the Arctic
tauntaun.
animal died. That's how rough it is out here.
Why would Han still be alive if a fucking Wolverine just fucking dropped dead from how cold it was?
Han
Because
got to
he's
take
got
a
his
shower in
jacket.
between. He went back to the base. He
Okay,
got
fine.
a warm shower, and then he got on
Fine.
the same tauntaun that he was on all day.
All right.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
got a hot chocolate and the tauntaun didn't.
Okay, fine. You guys
So-
are right.
So to get back to the injury,
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those things where it was definitely more apparent to people as it was coming out.
Maybe.
Like, because you have Star Wars being such a big hit, and then its first sequel's coming out, and it's already being like, people are very excited to see it. You know that Luke's or Mark Hamill's face is on every magazine for like the year leading up to that.
Yeah, I
like,
guess that's true.
you know that it's like it's probably huge, and he probably is a lot like a lot clearer in people's heads. Like, if you think about your favorite actor today and what they look like, you can usually get it pretty close. And if they had something minor happen to them and they were in the next Avengers movie and you were like, hey, that's a little different,
Right.
I think
It's
it would
like
stick
when
out.
Superman has a mustache and just
Yeah. In the
Yeah.
future, nobody's gonna understand why they needed to. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I always think it's really funny that like because Mark Hamill never really had like a huge like live action acting career. He pretty much
Right.
stuck exclusively to like voice acting stuff for like in between Star Wars and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like I think it's funny how like the new trilogy seemed to like kind of force him to get his act together, it seemed like. Because like whenever you would look at like pictures of like modern day Mark Hamill in like 2015, he looked real rough. He looked like a
Ragged, yeah.
weird toad man for a really long time. And like between that point and like Force Awakens, he like lost a lot of weight and like cut his hair and like got some good wardrobe, and like they really fixed him up for the new Star Wars, which I just think is
Yeah.
funny.
And
I mean-
he looks good now, which
Yeah.
makes
Yeah,
me
beard
happy
looks
because
really
he's
good
getting
on him.
older now. So I'm happy that he looks better now.
He totally does. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can't find a good example. There's
It
one
was like an
picture in
awkward teen
particular.
phase.
Yeah, except
Like
Except it
cleanly
was in
shaved
his
face,
40s.
weird haircut. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, he looks good in a beard for sure.
oh, I was about to say in the new Star Wars movies, like just like as an older guy, I think he's pretty handsome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mark Hamill's
absolutely.
always been handsome. I mean, not always. Like I said, he looked really bad for a little while, but
It was more so about the way he presented himself.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
His actual
Yeah.
physical appearance.
I mean,
yeah.
my take has always been like everybody's pretty attractive when you like dress him up nice
Yeah.
and give him a
Yeah.
shower. So yeah, like here's
Everybody's beautiful on the inside, and you can see it in this movie when they go inside the tauntaun, and it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's
Very
I
very
thought
cool.
they smelled bad. Oh yes, I.
yeah. That's another one where I forgot like how slow he says it because he's dying
Yeah.
of exposure.
That's me and Adeline's favorite line reading in history. We say that to each other all the time.
And I thought it smelled bad. Oh yes.
Oh yes, I. If I just look at my sorry, I'm concentrating on putting that picture of Mark Hamill in chat on both Discord and
Mhm.
Oh, word. Well, I mean, another weird delivery that like gets like you mentioned it earlier, like the big spoiler, the I'm your father. Like, I feel like every show and like parody of it that I've ever seen always does I am your father. Like the weird inflection on am,
Right.
but in this one it's just
Yeah.
I am your father. Like that's
It's like
like
as
that's
if Luke has
prac-
just said, "You're not my dad," and then he
Like-
goes, "No, I am your dad."
Right.
You're not my dad.
No.
You can't be my
But,
dad.
yeah.
I can be your dad, and I am your dad. No.
Yeah, but in this one, like he legitimately he just the inflections on the I. He just I am your father, and it's
Yeah.
just like it reads so well that the parody of it is just like so gross. Like
Yeah,
thinking
it's
back
like
to like
iterated on itself so
every
many
parody.
times, it just doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, people are always like, "Ugh, alternate universe theory. He never says your father. He just says I am your father." Wah! And it's like, well, because it doesn't make sense as a reference if you just say I am your father. Like you could be talking about anything.
right.
When you say Luke, I am your father, we immediately know that you're talking about Star Wars. But if you're just like, hey guys, I'm your dad, am I right?
I'm your
Nobody
father.
gets that reference.
I put a picture of gross old Mark Hamill on
Yeah,
the stream.
Yeah, well,
Not to just dunk on Mark Hamill, I just think it's funny how like awful he looked for so long before he like got it together.
Sounds like you're dunking on Mark Hamill.
yeah, it sounds like
He's
you're
very
talking
handsome
about
now. I'm
it
proud
a
of
lot.
him. He let himself go for a while and then he pulled it back in.
Yeah, I mean, you see him in that new Uber Eats ad with
Yeah, with Patrick Stewart.
Patrick
Looks pretty
Stewart.
good in that. Kind of get it in that one.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart can always kind of get it.
Oh, Patrick Stewart has not changed. He's
Yeah.
found the fountain of youth. But like really late in life.
Yeah.
So he's just eternally kind of old, but he will
Yeah.
not look older.
Hasn't checked in on Morgan Freeman in a while. Is he doing okay?
He had like
I
a
think-
scandal, didn't he?
Yeah, we're supposed to like not care about him right now, right? I
Oh.
think. I
didn't
think
hear
he did a
about
bad
that.
thing.
It was
Did
I
Morgan-
literally the only memory I have is like somebody saying to me like, "Oh, there's this whole weird thing with Morgan Freeman right now." And I was like, "Oh, I should look up what that is." And when I googled it, it like didn't come up. Like it seemed like
Yeah.
someone was like
Yeah.
trying to keep it from like really breaking big. I don't know. It was
Mhm.
weird. It was a
I
weird
thought
thing
it
and I don't know
was-
what it was.
Not to be a huge downer really quickly, but I thought that it was that like someone had accused him of like some kind of sexual assault, but then it had gotten like it was like, oh, it was a false allegation actually, but then people were like, but was it though? So it was like one of those things where it's like he could have done something wrong, but we haven't really proven that he did something wrong. I thought that's what the situation
So
was.
now he's just laying low, I guess. Just
I mean,
letting
Yeah,
I'm
it go.
99% sure that's got to be it. But that's just like that's the numbers stalking. That's like the most
right.
likely thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
I also really like the line delivery that Luke has when he's unconscious and about to go into the Tauntaun, where he's just like,
Yeah.
"Ben, the
Yeah.
Dagobah system." I think that's really funny. Yo.
Yeah.
And Han Solo's just like, okay, buddy.
Yeah.
But, like the Ben and the Yoda part, that's fine. But like the full sentence like Dagobah system is not something that comes out like between
Yeah,
breaths.
Dagobah system. Are you awake?
Number-
No.
I also just want to say that the like Mega Ultra Star Destroyer is so sick with the like blue lights on it and the like orange afterburners coming out behind.
Oh yeah.
Is
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah.
coolest. And also all the walkers on Hoth are the coolest. This movie has like
It's such a cool like ship design. Like
yeah.
it's so clearly like an animal. Like it's got the four legs and it's like big. It's so clearly got a head with like tusks and eyes and stuff. But
Yeah.
it doesn't. But it still looks like a huge robot. Like it's just such a cool design. It's just like invokes like such size and like power and destruction. Like it's so cool.
Yeah, no, I love that so much because like I mean, it's natural that like when you create a big machine that's never been made before, you got to make it look like something.
Right.
Like it's got to be something imposing, like a giant camel or mammoth or whatever. Like
Mhm.
I feel like now it's just your everyday sci-fi series is just like how angular can we make this? Like
Yeah,
how many
Right.
triangles
how-
can we fit on this bad boy?
like yeah, basically that's all of it. But like I don't know. Feel like through time we've, as people, just always been able to just do that. Like
Yeah.
take an animal silhouette and apply that to technology. But
Well, there's a lot of animalistic imagery in Star Wars. Like we talked
Yeah.
about like with Darth Vader's mask before, where it's like he kind of looks like a dog, like with like the muzzle and stuff.
Right.
a
Like,
puppy. Yeah.
I don't know what to do with this observation, but I think it's a cool observation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a
It's-
question for you guys. When
Uh-huh.
you look at the AT-ATs, do you
Yeah.
see their like eyes and face? Do you see the eyes as the guns on the side of their head, or as the windshield that's like on the front on the snout?
I see the windshield as the eyes.
Really?
It's not like a chameleon.
You know, in my mind's eye, I don't even register it having eyes.
That's fair.
Like
All right.
I think of it as this weird like obelisk of like or golem of a camel.
Right, just like a
Yeah.
faceless thing. See,
Yeah.
I see
Yeah,
it
'cause
with
that's
like
what
big
that's what
chameleon
I love
eyes on
about
the
it,
side
is
of
that
its head.
it's not exactly emulating an animal. It just invokes the idea of an
Yeah,
animal. And
right.
That's what's so cool about it.
Yeah. But no, I see what you mean. Like I know what you're getting at. Like there are just certain things where you're like you look at a car and you're like, is the windshield the eyes or the headlights the eyes? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
but I just
think
that's weird.
cars
I've never had that
fucked
with
up,
this.
because I have never thought of the windshield as the eyes. It's on the front that are the eyes.
Yeah, well, didn't they have like those like mobile gas commercials where
Yeah.
the headlights were the
Right.
eyes? And I was just I guess their like head cavity is just the cabin, like the windows go directly to the brain.
It's
I-
like it's like a turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I never really
Uh,
thought twice about the fact that the eyes were the windshield in cars.
I
don't
mean,
think you'd spend enough time thinking about cars, Jackson.
Here's the
I-
thing. Here's the thing.
there's a lot. There's so much to unpack.
But
Yeah.
the thing is that not all cars
Go to
have.
heaven.
Not all cars go to heaven. Not all cars have grills. If it's like an
Uh-huh.
electric
Yeah.
car, so that if you do the grill as the mouth and the headlights as the eyes, that doesn't always work for every car necessarily.
Okay.
But I guess the grill
So-
is still the mouth in the Cars version too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could sort of just see like it's the Tesla cars that don't have grills, right?
right. Or like
yeah.
just
So
any
like
electric
Tesla
car.
is like the Tyrell Corporation in Blade Runner, and
Right.
Teslas are just replicants.
And all the
so they just
Teslas are
don't-
like, I have no mouth, but I must scream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I trained a
that-
robot how to scream.
So in the
Wow.
Cars universe, those cars they're just like they're not even in the movies because like they don't get parts in movies.
Can we
Yeah.
get Denis Villeneuve to do a Cars movie in between Dunes? That's the pitch I would want to hear.
Let's
Let's go.
let's
Wait,
just
hold on.
take
Katie
that
in the chat
soundbite,
just
send it
said,
right
I
to-
know someone in the Cars fandom, and that just feels, is it you? Is it you, Kate?
I have a friend who's in the Cars fandom. I don't
they-
believe that exists, to be frank. I don't think that is a thing.
Jackson. Oh, Jackson. Don't put that in the universe.
I don't. Okay, hold on. Let me read the chat super quick. Oh, that's just it. Just I know someone in the Cars fan. What are you talking about in the Cars fandom?
You ship
The
them. Jackson,
connection.
Mater X Lightning.
Okay, I
Get
guess that's
together.
fair. I can't imagine thinking enough about Cars to like identify
mean-
yourself as like being in that fandom, quote unquote.
Well, you have the Pixar like cinematic universe,
Right.
right? Where they all technically happen in the same universe. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Brave and Cars happen on the same planet Earth.
Right. So we went
did
into
too
this
much
on the
research into
podcast.
that series.
We went pretty
Yeah.
deep on that at one point. It's
This is
How
not
is
Empire
this
Strikes Back.
bullshit?
pretty insane
The
that like
world, in that timeline, the world ends like 3 times, but never where you think it's going to.
because
Right,
like
it's like after Toy Story 1.
well it's
Yeah.
like the theory is that
No, it's
Like-
like Wally comes first, and then the world ends,
right
and then all the other movie happens, and then the world ends again, and then we have the Cars movies. Like,
and then
it's
Monsters
crazy.
Inc. is like the far future, like heat death of the universe, where it's like some
which doesn't
other.
make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Because Boo is definitely from like the 90s.
But they
like,
time travel. They go back through the doors.
Yeah, I don't like that one either. Because they never go to future Hawaii; they go to regular Hawaii.
Regular Hawaii.
Kate just brought up another point that a lot of the art in the Cars fandom is Jinka or Gajinka. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but it's where you make the human version of the thing. That makes a lot of sense. There
That
is
does
huge
make a lot of sense.
Pixar Gajinka fandom.
I
I've
gotta-
seen it. I know it.
Okay, I know I'm gonna regret this, but I'm Googling Cars fan art right now.
No,
I
Jackson.
just need to know what this looks like.
Jackson, no. You're gonna find the TikTok cosplayer who cosplays Lightning McQueen. You're gonna do it.
Let's see. Okay, so nothing super weird. There is a certain amount of like there's a very specific vibe of like fan art where like it was definitely drawn by like a 15 or 14-year-old, and there's nothing explicitly sexual about it, but it just has a really horny energy that's hard to put a finger on.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of these are
As
like.
if it's made by a 14 or 15-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I remember this from middle school back when I didn't have social media, so I would just look up things on Google Images because I didn't know how the internet worked. But there is like a big like Finding Nemo like Gajinka fandom where they draw the Finding Nemo characters as like an anime family. That's like a big thing. And I remember there was discourse of people shipping the blackfish with little Nemo, and that was like a a thing that was happening.
I found some
And-
God.
excellent fan art that I'm sending you guys right now.
Wait, was
Very
he like
cool.
drawn like Willem Dafoe?
No,
like,
he's drawn
he was
like an anime.
Anime. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, that's dope.
That's
Can we get a car dragon AU? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
That
okay.
slaps.
Hold on, I'm still putting it on the stream.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
That
Sorry,
I like that.
I was
would
looking
show
at
up
this
for
picture completely wrong, which I don't think there is a right way, but I thought that the dragon part of it was fused to the top of the car.
It's like a
it was a
gargoyle.
part of the car.
A gargoyle,
That's
if you
fair.
will.
A gargoyle, yes, exactly. But the weird thing about the gargoyle was that the perspective where it's just like 35 degrees from the front of the car, just
Yeah.
facing outward diagonally.
So for people listening
Yeah.
at home who aren't watching the
Realistic ride.
stream, this is a drawing of Hudson Hornet from Cars. Is that what his name was?
Doc Hudson, the Hudson Hornet.
Doc Hudson.
You were
Um,
supposed to watch this before the show.
Yeah, come
Doc
on.
Hudson, and there's a dragon on top of him who also has
Yeah.
similar hood ornaments and general color schemes and adornments as Doc Hudson from Cars.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Doc Hudson as a dragon, and if you can find more of this AU somewhere,
Yeah.
I'm very invested.
I'm
now.
putting
Are
out-
they like? Do they like fly in race? Are they race dragons?
I'm putting out an APB to anybody within the radius of my voice. Like, if you know people who do Cars Dragon fan art, we are unironically into this and we want it.
Yeah, no, like. God, imagine if the Cars movie was just called Dragons instead, and it was about this dragon racer who gets like too far removed. It's the same problem with Cars, where he doesn't have to be a dragon for this plot. The plot does not rely on the fact that he's a dragon.
Right.
It's
You
just,
always
like,
say
he's,
that,
like,
they
a
are- they do have
racer,
to
and he goes to a
race.
small dragon town.
All right, quick cue. In this picture, Doc Hudson, he's
Mhm.
purple. Am I freaking out, or was he actually blue?
He was like a deep blue.
Yeah, I think that's more or less the color he was.
No, I think it was more of a navy kind of color. I think this person has taken some artistic license and made him just a little bit more
Do you think
purple.
a little bit of artistic license?
Yeah, just a little. Like, just a smidgen.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Look at
definitely
that
more
signature.
blue. in
We're
the
looking at a
movie.
professional here, so
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, listen, if you're gonna make Doc Hudson into a dragon, are you really gonna be that upset when he's purple and not blue?
a little bit because he uses blue in the picture. It's not like he lost his blue crayon.
He had the option to make blue.
Like, I've only got purple, but by God, this picture is happening.
But it's the signature. First of all, this was 2010, it looks like.
Yeah,
But this signature makes me think that this is an adult person, at least.
Yes.
And that that's just another layer, which just
So I
blows
thought
my
that this
mind.
might actually be a little too boring, but I'm just going to get into it anyway. I'll get in and out real quick.
Okay.
But I live in Orlando, so I've got Disney real close.
Right.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of stores on and off of Disney property where people are like, they'll do Disney fan art, like professionally made in art
Yeah.
galleries and
Right.
sell them. And that's the kind of signature that you see. And I am just
Right.
trying to imagine going to one of these still kind of upscale Disney
Yeah.
picture places and seeing this on the wall.
Yeah, no.
Do you think-
I've
well,
been
they
not
do-
buying
places
it?
and I've
They do
bought
like
art from them.
commissions, right?
Yeah.
So what?
Like-
Can we ask them to do dragon cars for us?
Oh my god.
Maybe.
Can we get an
if we
official
go
Disney
with
sketch
this-
artist?
We take this to Disney.
At Disneyland, at some of the places, like some of the stores, they just have people and you give them like $5 and they'll like draw a Disney character for you. I don't know if they're allowed to like deviate from the like actual character
Right.
design though. I don't know if you walked up to those people and were like, hey, can you draw Rapunzel but she's a dragon? I don't know if they'd be like, no.
Okay. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna look up the. They would probably be closed. Let's see. I'm gonna look up the phone number of one of those art shops in downtown Disney.
Yeah.
They're definitely open.
Downtown Disney's been open for a while, haven't they?
Well, and I just mean like this time of night, not in terms of coronavirus.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It's like
Yeah,
6:30 here.
Virus brain.
Well, I guess you're. It's one time zone before me, so I guess Adeline's 5:30 for you, right?
I think they're open.
Yeah.
The Orlando one is open for another 30 minutes.
Oh, really?
How fast
Okay.
can you run?
I'm gonna. I Wonderground Gallery. Carmen's.
Well, can
Okay,
you
okay.
look and see if this person has made more dragon fan art?
I can't read that signature.
Is it unethical to
What does
put
that
somebody
say?
on speakerphone on a stream?
Never.
Okay.
Never unethical.
I think maybe.
They don't have to answer the phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
You just have to tell them this call is being recorded for quality
Okay,
assurance
I
purposes.
got it.
I'm
these
punching
fingers.
in the number. Is Commons Art Shop? It says it's in the Disneyland Resort. I hope that's the place I'm thinking of. 440.
Kate, I can't believe you've done this to me. Kate is sending me Cars Gajinka. I can't handle it.
You gotta put him in our chat too.
I hate how genuinely kind of okay this art is. Like
Okay.
someone puts
Yeah.
that into these character designs.
I'm gonna
The
call
only thing
this
that's
number. I'm
annoying-
gonna put him on
Oh.
speakerphone right now, and I'm gonna ask him
Oh, you
about
can.
dragon cars.
I'm gonna talk about Dragon Girl.
Okay.
Hello, you have reached Commons Art Shop. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time during this message, or you may dial 0 to reach the operator. To reach accounts receivable, dial 49. To reach accounts payable, dial
This doesn't
10.
seem right.
This
No,
doesn't
it is
seem
not
like the right
correct.
number.
Services, dial 22. To reach human resources, dial 46. To reach
Maybe
benefits,
human
dial
resources.
45.
It's
For
probably
IT
Dragon
support,
Resources.
Dial 44. To reach payroll, dial 12.
This seems
Yeah,
like their
no,
like
this is
corporate
not-
office. Okay, hold
You
on.
found the employee hotline.
Yeah.
Disney Gallery is temporarily closed. It says
What? Why?
the art
why-
of Disney.
Is there like a map of downtown Disney that you can look at that just has the business names on it?
Let's see. Art of Disney. This one's in Florida, but it says it's open. In downtown. Okay, I'm gonna try this place.
All right.
Is this like when we used to call cereal companies for their cereal ideas?
Yeah. In high school, me and a friend of mine used to spend our high school lunches just calling the phone numbers of different cereal companies and just pitching stupid cereal ideas to whoever would pick up the phone.
God, we need to do that on the podcast.
only once we
That was-
get Keisha on again.
Yeah, that's it, because that was with Keisha, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try this one and then I'll stop. I don't want to waste everybody's time if we can't get them. Okay.
4
This is so important,
0
Jason.
3. Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
Okay. Well,
Number.
that was not right.
Oh, I guess Disney's bankrupt.
Did I put
Yeah,
it wrong?
Oh, no.
Did Disney go out of business?
I think God just doesn't want this one to happen.
Yeah, no.
Man,
think...
I just want to ask an employee about dragon cars. Fuck.
Well, Jackson, look to see if this person has made more Dragon's Car fan art.
Let's see.
Reverse image search. Go into the deep dark web and tell me.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna look up Cars Disney Dragons. Here's just a picture of a dragon on top of a car, like a regular car.
No.
It's close, but not quite.
Let's
Doesn't
see.
scratch the itch.
I don't know. I guess.
There's no way this person just did one picture
Yeah.
of Doc Martin.
I'm gonna see.
Okay,
I'm gonna
but
try to find
counterpoint. It's extremely. I think this might be the only one. It looks like heart
There's
and
no
soul and blood and tears went into this.
I'm trying
No,
to
I'm
find the
telling
Google
ya.
result for that to see if I can trace it.
Let's see. Find this person's home address, please.
Okay, here we go. It's on fanpop.com.
That seems right. Is it on iFunny also?
Let's see. Added by Spirit Lover.
Oh, Jackson, you turned into a demon robot again.
Okay, so it says this was uploaded by Lowrider Girl. They say a picture I found on DeviantArt that she made.
Wait, she
Wait, what?
found it. and
Okay,
she
so I
made
gotta
it?
go DeviantArt, Lowrider Girl. I'm sure I will
think
not
Lowrider
regret
Girl
this.
stole the art. That does not look like Lowrider Girl's signature.
They
No, it
credited it to
doesn't.
Lowrider Girl. I'm gonna start there, and maybe I can trace my way back.
I think. Okay, I'm gonna
We have an
I'm gonna
earth thief
reverse
on our
search this
hands.
too. And it says here that this is actually from the Louvre in Paris.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
a Da Vinci.
Van Gogh? Yeah.
No, this is a DiCaprio.
I hate that users on DeviantArt are called deviants.
Yeah.
That is just no good. I can't. The user doesn't exist anymore. This goes deeper than I
Oh,
could have
God.
possibly imagined.
Somebody. Wait, what if this was drawn before Cars? What if the
What
original
this
concept
predates
wow.
Cars?
was gargoyles?
I can only
And-
find the Doc Martin one. What's going on with the world?
Okay, I'm gonna do a reverse image search. See if I can trace this.
I found somebody's Cars OC. Oh my god. He's like a pickup truck, but he's wearing a baseball hat. And he's like a dark blue. It's very good.
No, the reverse image search isn't specific enough. It's just showing me a lot of different purple cars.
Yeah.
The algorithm wasn't built for this.
How can this be the only one?
There's gotta be more.
How?
I gotta
How is
have
this
more
the
dragon
only one?
cars.
I searched Pixar Cars Dragons, and it came up again, but no other ones. And nothing else even vaguely like that. What is happening?
Okay. I tried a different reverse image search besides just Google.
Yeah.
It says 3 instances of this image.
Oh my god.
Wow.
One
rare.
on fanpop.com, which was the one that I got it from. Let's see.
Yep.
carsdude.deviantart.com. Let's take a look at this. Latest deviations. I hate DeviantArt, if I'm being frank. Why do they call everything like this? Let's see. I don't see the picture here. It's just under their favorites. Okay.
I mean, how could it not be?
It's under my favorites for sure.
Kate on Twitter just sent me a link to what I think is the Cars Discord server.
Okay. Send me that link right now. Right this instant.
I gotta hold on. Oh no, it's just art. Okay, no, it was somebody else talking about the server. I thought you had just sent me I thought they had just sent me the link to the server, and I was gonna lose my mind.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna do some private research.
About
We'll come
Discord
back.
server?
We spent too long on cars.
So, do you think okay. To get back to cars.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
with the AT-ATs
Oh, okay. Got it.
and
Okay.
and the Tauntauns like chilling together. Do you
Yeah.
think there's like some weird like organic versus mechanical kind of tension there?
That's true. They're the good guys
Story
aren't
of
making
the guy
big
who
mechanical
owns the
robots
trains.
destroying
What
the
is it?
environment.
Who's the guy that dug a hole through the mountain faster than the train did?
John Henry? I don't think he dug a hole through a mountain.
Yeah, he did.
I
In
think-
the animated Disney movie, he did.
Didn't he? Wait, I thought he was laying down railroad. What did John Henry
What's
do?
that with
No, they were
Minecraft?
building a railroad, and then this guy's like, "Yo, I got this machine that'll build a railroad faster than anybody else." Cade, hold on, Cade, please send a link to the Cars Discord
Wait,
server, please.
okay. If you have a link to the Cars Discord, we will officially be done with Empire Strikes Back forever.
Oh, God, we have to wait till tomorrow.
Oh, God damn it. Okay. What if we just did another stream tomorrow, which was Cars Discord deep dive?
Then we would all have to watch it, and
Yeah,
I would
we'll
have to
watch-
be there
Oh my god.
because you talked about it in the general vicinity of me, and it would be very rude
It's
not
true.
to invite me.
It's true.
Oh,
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Maybe not tomorrow. But Cars. God damn it. Maybe not tomorrow, but at some point, the three of us are gonna reconvene. I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna do another stream, which is just Cars Discord deep dive, and we can get up to some antics on the Cars Discord. Does that sound good to
Yeah.
you guys?
Yeah,
want
but I think we
fan
also
art,
need to do
I
our
want
research.
fan fiction. I want fan theories. I want it all.
Ooh, that'd be so
And
good.
we all need to watch each Cars movie.
Yeah. all
Okay, so are you
I've
just
only
saying you want to
watched
come back on the
the first-
podcast for a Cars series?
Yes.
Okay, that can be
We
done.
can do that.
Our fucking stream looks like a nightmare right now.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That it's indicative of what happened.
It reflects a greater truth.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we at? We
So we were
talked.
just
We
talking
talked
about-
Hoth. We talked Han and Leia. We talked Yoda. We talked
AT.
Dagobah.
Explain the story of John Henry to you.
Lando. What about Lando? Thoughts on Lando? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I
Thumbs-
like him.
3 thumbs up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My third secret thumb
Okay.
that I save only for Lando Calrissian.
I don't
True.
think we talked about this on the Solo episode. In the run up to Solo coming out, Disney did one of their weird little press conferences that they do where they were just like, "Hey, just a heads up, it's canon that Lando is pansexual." And everyone was like, "Okay, like that makes sense." But
Yeah.
and like I get why you would say that, but to me that brings up so many questions as to the nature of life in Star Wars. Because, like, what does that mean? Like, what does pansexual mean in a society
In
where
the
there are
context
hundreds of
of-
different species? Like,
That-
yeah.
You're right. What does it mean to be a pansexual in the Star Wars universe?
yeah,
Well, I mean, there is like his relationship with the robot, with
exactly.
the droid.
Yeah, I think that's just what that
the
means.
whole reason that they wanted to come out with that statement. Somebody
Right.
was like, "We need to prepare people for this off-screen romantic
Over
tension
Disney is just like, yeah, he fucked the robot, okay? He fucked the robot.
before you
It's like,
start
God,
asking."
okay.
Yes, he fucked it.
Also, like, okay. So, first of all, they took Lando's girlfriend and they killed her and they trapped her inside Han Solo's ship forever. First
Yep,
of
Like
all.
like a fun talisman.
maybe.
Yeah. Well, first, actually, what they did was they trapped her inside of Lando Calrissian's ship, and then Han Solo fucking stole it from him, like
Yeah.
literally physically
his girlfriend.
kidnapped Lando Calrissian's lover just forever.
Yeah,
Right.
And like, I just want to know how that informs their relationship in this movie. Like,
It doesn't. You want to know? Because that's fucking crazy. And there's no context to this whole film that even there's not even seeds of that in here. I don't know why they did that.
Well, because there's the one bit where C-3PO is like, I don't know who taught your ship to have manners, because it's very rude to me. Or whatever the fuck it is he says.
But that doesn't imply that his girlfriend's soul is trapped in it
yes,
forever.
it does. We don't know why that is. Audiences are clamoring to know exactly why that is.
I feel like we're veering very, very close to Cars again.
It's talking to the computer.
We are getting really close to Cars territory again.
We're walking this line. We got to be careful we don't fall off into
All right,
Cars
all right.
territory again.
I'm gonna take a hard left turn away from the edge. By the way, we're covering Empire Strikes Back this month, not because it just happened to be the next Star Wars movie we needed to do, but because it is, I think, the spookiest Star Wars movie. Your thoughts?
Disagree. There's nothing scarier than the reality of having to sit through the first half hour of Return of the Jedi.
Wait, the first half hour? That's good, though.
Isn't that the one where all the monsters are partying?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see.
And it just doesn't stop.
You don't like that?
That's
so
good.
annoying.
You don't like
Let's see, you're referring to the special edition where George Lucas fucking CGI'd in an entire bad musical number.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't like it?
No, I'm not crazy about it.
But the rest of the movie's good, where they're on the barge and he kills Boba Fett.
Yeah, all that cool pirate stuff is great, but
Yeah.
I feel like by the time I've gotten to that, I've already watched 3 movies.
That's true.
That's how I feel.
You don't like
I don't like it.
Because this movie has the weird hallucination where
Oh, yeah.
Luke chops off Darth Vader's head and then his own face is inside the helmet, which is pretty fucked up if you think about it.
Yeah.
If you think about it, Star Wars is kind of fucked up.
Pretty messed up.
I mean, they do get eaten by a giant kaiju in this one.
That's true. That big worm is a kaiju.
See, that is a kaiju. It is.
And is that our Vor ticket?
Yeah. I guess there is more in
Oh
this
my
movie
God,
too.
it's
Fuck.
kaiju
There's
and
more in this
more.
one.
Every time we try to not talk about something on this podcast, we just can't help but do it.
Cars, Vor,
Godzilla.
kaiju.
Yeah, we can't not.
Carvores, my
Fucking
favorite trilogy.
God.
Wait, do you remember when the maker of Cars was like, I would like to see another car get inside of a car and try
Yes.
to drive it with the steering wheel? Do you remember when he said that?
Do you ever
Yes.
get to see the inside of a car?
No.
I'd like to see the inside of a car. What does that look
Well,
like?
no. Okay, so in the first movie, you don't see inside of a car. You see inside of the trailer attached to a truck.
Right.
Does that count?
I don't think that's the same. I think the trailer is
Is that
just still a
also Vor?
trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
just-
It's a. But he.
go-
Though, is that just a part of him?
Yeah. See, according to the Pixar multiverse theory, the cars have always been alive, Toy Story style, and so when all the humans left, they just took over the planet now that they didn't have to keep their existence a secret anymore.
And then
Yeah.
wiped away human
Which-
history.
Which would imply that they are just regular cars on the inside.
Yeah.
Unless they've evolved past that point, and now they're just gooey brains and stuff on the inside.
Well, I
now.
think that was the original cars, and then generations later, now we have
Exactly.
these hybrid cars that maybe don't even have interiors anymore.
And this is all, as we know, because of the witch from Brave cast a spell on the world that made cars and toys come to life.
Yes.
Yeah, when did she do that? Don't ask questions.
So anyway, on Dagobah, I like that there are just snakes and lizards around. They didn't feel like they had to like make up their own
Yeah.
aliens. They were just like, it's
Yeah.
fine. Like there could be
They
snakes
gotta-
in space.
Couple cute shots of like just the Gila monsters. Like I love when movies used to do that, where it's like, oh, people haven't seen like reptiles from the Galapagos, so we can put them in our movie and they'll still be very alien to
Oh
people.
yeah, like
Right.
armadillos and
Yeah.
Dracula.
Like I love seeing that. It's just
Did you guys
That's
know
it.
that Gila monsters, for a long time, people thought they had like a venomous bite, but it turns out they don't actually inject you with anything. Their mouth just cultivates a horrible cocktail
their
of
spit.
gnarly bacteria just all on its own. So when they bite you, it just gets infected like
Get infected.
100% of the time. How messed up is that?
Yeah.
yeah, they
no,
should brush
dude.
their teeth.
Yeah.
Komodo dragons were like my favorite animal for a grip, and like, yeah, it's fucked up, man.
I love that moment where they meet Lando for the first time, and he instantly gets super horny when he looks at Princess Leia,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Han like sort of like shepherds her away, and then C-3PO is just like, "Well, hi, I'm C-3PO. Like, how's it going?" And Lando just completely walks away from him.
Yeah.
No, because C-3PO, first of all, he's like, how dare you not be horny about me? And second of
Right.
all, he doesn't read the room. He is unable to. He's like, I don't understand that this man is horny is all like.
Yeah, he's literally like, wow, he's really friendly. I'm gonna say hi, and then he says hi, and then Lando doesn't pay attention.
Yeah, and he's like, what the fuck?
It's
I
very
love-
real interaction on everybody's part.
I
Like
love the
Han is just
way-
like, okay, even I'm uncomfortable with this.
With your sexual energy, then something's wrong.
I like that. I just like the way everybody interacts with C-3PO in this movie, because everybody is so mean to him all the time, but he completely
Yeah.
doesn't seem to notice. And
Yep.
then, like, that moment at the end, like, right after Han and Leia kiss for the first time, and C-3PO just, like, blunders in. It's just like, Han Solo, you have to come look at this. And Han Solo's just like, thank you, I really appreciate it. C-3PO is so funny.
It's like, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
I feel like C-3PO kind of just plays the part of Anthony Daniels in this one,
Yeah.
where everybody's just kind of putting up with him and doesn't really like him.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the thing where like Anthony Daniels and the guy who played R2D2 like apparently had some kind of weird one-sided beef where Anthony Daniels is just constantly like, "Oh, me and that guy, I don't remember his name. Me and what's his name in the R2D2 box, like we did not get along. Whoo boy, that was tricky." And then the guy in the R2D2 is like, I thought we were friends. Like, I didn't really
Yeah.
pick up on that. Like, I thought we were cool." Like,
Oh no.
Apparently, the thing is, like, Anthony is like very, very into his role and considers himself kind of better than all the other actors.
right.
And he's like said a lot of horrible things
Oh,
about what is his name? You forgot R2D2's
Yeah, I don't
actor's
remember his
name,
name.
and that made me forget it because I did know it before we started.
a moment ago, I swear.
I'll look it up.
But yeah, no, like yeah, he's like said really terrible stuff about him in print, and
Kenny
yeah,
Baker.
it's a really unfortunate. Yes. So it's really unfortunate because C-3PO is actually, I think, my favorite Star Wars character. Believe it or not.
It's also kind of this
um,
podcast's favorite Star Wars character,
Yeah,
apparently.
Oh, well, perfect. I'm with friends.
But,
I'm
like,
in a safe
One
space.
last look at my friends.
what was
Before I just kill all of you.
I know I've talked about this on the podcast, but like I was so fucking sure based on that Rise of Skywalker trailer
He thought he knew.
that they were gonna get into the back of C-3PO's head and they were gonna like engage instant kill mode, and C-3PO was just gonna fuck some shit
Death
up.
grip.
Like he was gonna like just start mowing through stormtroopers,
But
and I
you know
wanted
what
it
they
so
did
bad.
instead? Fucking nothing.
So wait, okay, so I still haven't seen Rise of Skywalker because I want to save it for the podcast eventually. But what is the thing where his eyes glow red? Is that even in it?
Oh, it's just allergies.
No, it's literally like C-3PO like fucking remembers a code that he's not allowed to say, so they have to like turn him off in order to get it, but it might kill him. But then it doesn't because it's C-3PO and we can't kill him. And then he like when they like turn him off, and like when they put him into like factory reset mode, like he's fucking Buzz Lightyear, and I think that's when his eyes turn red. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
remember.
Or maybe
Yeah,
he just
no,
smoked some weed.
Yeah, I think
They-
he gets
they-
really crunk for a second.
This is not shitpost. They basically put him into the dark web, and that's why his red
I
eyes
mean,
go red.
honestly,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if you just did a Google search in the dark web for C-3PO, what would happen?
You probably a lot of fleshlights. You know, like those like dolls that you're supposed to like have sex with, except that they're just C-3PO. Probably.
But why would you? That's not illegal. Why would you go to the dark web for that?
Just because of
decent
shame.
People don't want to see that.
Okay, if I'm looking at my note, I'm trying to think of all the major moments. Like we did the vor scene.
Yeah,
We did. It's really good when like that reveal when they're just going around Lando's house and then he just opens up one door and fucking Darth Vader's there.
Oh, it's
and
so good.
you're like so completely unprepared for it. It like
Yeah.
even still, it's like one of the few like surprises in this movie that still kind of feels fresh when you watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like it's so scary and so unexpected. You're just like,
Darth Vader,
shit.
like at the dinner table, is such a power move. It's
Yeah.
so cool.
I really wish we could have seen what like went on inside that room after they closed the doors.
I know. I want this like super intense, but where they're like still like trying to like keep cordiality, like conversation, like over dinner with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I want that so bad.
He takes off his helmet and he's grimy, bald Anakin, and he just
Just
starts
like
eating
Vader,
something.
Bosk, and Boba Fett just like shooting the shit about the movie they saw last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we're not so
Independently.
different, you and I.
Hey, do you try the
You've got your law practice, and I've got these fucking trans.
Yeah, no, I really like that he outsources this shit to bounty hunters like towards the end of the movie because
Right.
he's just so sick of all of his officers not getting anything done.
Right.
It's so funny how often like I kind of want a supercut in this movie of how many times an officer has to be like, "We lost him," or like, "I'm sorry, Darth Vader."
Right.
Like, because it happens a lot in this one.
Mr. Darth Vader.
There's an arc in the modern Disney comic books that I really like, where you basically get to see Darth Vader tell Palpatine that the Death Star got exploded, which is really good. Just like
Oh yeah.
Darth Vader having to be like, so the Death Star, like,
Sorry.
that big old thing, like, so it just kind of, well, I mean, some mistakes were made.
$10 you gave me.
it's just funny.
Oh, what's wild to me is that he has to deliver that news, but also it's not wild to me because that's the kind of thing that Palpatine would make Vader do, even if he did know already.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
tell me what happened, like the same way a parent does when like you scrape
Right.
your knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the Kieran Gillen Darth Vader comic book from a few years ago does a lot of legwork on like the relationship between Palpatine and Darth Vader in a way that I think is super cool and interesting. In the sense that like it really explores. It's easy to forget that like Darth Vader is not really at the top of the ladder like at all.
Right.
He's sort of like outside of the hierarchy, but like he still kind of has to report to like Tarkin.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
there are plenty of people who are still kind of in charge of him, and like
Right.
just about the sort of like the like as cool and tough and scary as Darth Vader is at all times, it shows you this sort of like behind the scenes where he's kind of like getting emasculated by his superiors a lot and like really fed up with his job in a way that's like cool and scary and interesting. It's super good.
It might as well be like Sith training is like
Exactly,
being an employee
yeah.
at the lowest level.
Yeah.
See, what does make me think that they hadn't planned on making a series at the after A New Hope is the fact that they build a Death Star again. Like that feels like we haven't planned out an arc. What do? They they build the Death Star again
Right.
a second time.
I mean, what would
But
you do?
Like I love it.
I think I do kind of like the Force Awakens take where it's like, oh, we'll do it, but bigger and better. That
Right.
makes sense. Not just let's do the exact same thing again.
I always remember this little bit on The Simpsons where the family is trying to accomplish something, but it is a very important one line that I remember. And like something happens off screen and it goes back to the family and they've actually completed the task after failing the first time. And then somebody asks, "What did you do? How'd you do it?" And they're like, "Oh, we just tried the same thing again." It's weird how we always just try things one time, because that's just like a thing in media, is like in cartoons and in movies, everybody just tries the thing one time and then just like,
well,
oh, it didn't work. Gotta do something completely different out of left field. And I'm just like, that always stuck with me. And I'm just like, I kind of like the whole second Death Star thing, because they're just like, well, I mean, we still have all the plans and we could probably build it a lot faster because we know all the parts.
Exactly. Like we did it once already. And like, I think that's what you would do, right? Like you spend like $1 bazillion making a giant warship and it gets blown up. You'd just probably be like, I mean, I guess we just try again, right? They won't do
And
the
then,
same
like, a
thing
century-
twice, I don't think.
And then a
And that's, like,
century down the line, everybody
Like, blew
forgets
up
that
is
there
'cause
were
you've
two.
got freaking Space Jesus guiding the missile the first time.
Yeah.
So
Like, how likely is that going to happen again?
yeah,
And again.
but
How do they blow it up in the third one? They don't have a torpedo and an exhaust port that time, do they?
I think it's actually predisposed to blow up. I think at the end of the movie, it's like, oh, I'm the Death Star. It's time to blow up.
wait, no, wasn't Palpatine getting thrown into like the reactor core? Isn't that what makes it blow up?
Oh, okay, the third one. Okay, I see what you mean. I thought
Right.
you meant the third Death Star.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
No.
No, the third movie, yeah, no, he falls into it, and I guess he's just so powerful that
No,
there's
no.
just a core meltdown.
Because they're on a Star Destroyer for that Luke Palpatine Darth Vader fight.
Oh,
Because they're
yeah.
looking out at the Death Star. And
Yeah.
Lando is like piloting the Millennium Falcon, which I hope he gets to fuck off screen in that, because I
Yeah.
just want that for him.
Oh, you know he does.
He's piloting the Millennium Falcon, and we're gonna cover this in a few weeks, so I don't know why I'm doing this now, but I'm just trying to remember how they blow it up. I guess it's just under
Yeah.
construction. They just blow it up like you would blow something up.
Like normal.
You
yeah.
don't need a gimmick that time.
Well, the whole thing is that what they're doing on the ground is that they're trying to disable shields so they can blow it up, I think is the thing. And then
Right,
once
on
they
Endor.
do that, they could just easily blow it up.
Still don't get that.
Whatever.
I'm really not a big fan of that third movie.
Perfect
Yeah,
movie.
I've talked before about how like the original movies and the prequels like balance each other out like so perfectly, in the sense that like Star Wars is awesome and Phantom Menace blows, and then Empire Strikes Back is like even better, and then Clone Wars is like even worse, and then Return of the Jedi is like maybe kind of bad, and Revenge of the Sith is like maybe kind of good.
Yeah,
Like, it's
like
just
the
like
maybe kind of.
perfect opposites, like mirror images of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, for a while there, my full like consumption of Star Wars media was through the Lego Star Wars games.
Right.
And
That's really
honestly, I was kind of just really prepared for it. Like, I had seen the movies before that just because, I'm the youngest in the family. So, like, I was a kid and I didn't understand what was going on, but the movies were around. So when the Lego games came around, I played those, like, hours, like, way too much time. Like, I ran out of content multiple times. But I loved playing them. And then getting back to the movies, I was like, this is so familiar. And this was
I know
before...
this.
This is before like they did like voice acting in the Lego games. Like everything was
Right.
pantomimed, and it was just very true to the series. So it fit like an old sock.
Like an old friend.
Just getting right back into movies. And then the third movie, I'm like, I beat Lego Star Wars and got sick of Lego Star Wars faster than this movie is going.
Yeah.
So I think we've pretty much covered everything we want to cover, except for the wealth of Cars material
Yeah,
that
I got
we're
a couple notes
leaving on the
here.
table. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I thought was interesting was that in the first movie, in A New Hope, you have this sort of contention where Han is a deserter. He's never really like signed on to the rebellion, and you kind of worry that he's not going to come back in the end. And then of course he comes back and helps out. And in this one, Han, he kind of in the beginning, like there's this like kind of red herring where he's trying to get away, but I
Right.
really don't think he is. He's just trying to bait Leia into like
Right.
confessing her feelings for him. I don't think he really wants to go.
Right, trying to get her to try to get him to stop.
Yeah, but then after the Battle of Hoth, Luke is just like, we're going to Dagobah, which
Yeah, it's
would
true.
be a punishable offense
I
if
thought
he was
about that
actually
too.
signed on to the rebellion.
The best I can figure is that the rebellion is not like an official like military whatever.
Right.
They're just like a ragtag group of whatever.
And if it wasn't Luke Skywalker, it would probably be a bigger deal. Like
Right.
that person might be branded a coward, but it's Luke, so it's just like, oh, he's learning magic.
Yeah.
But it's really funny that like you actually in this
He
movie
just
it
dips.
switches where
Yeah.
Han is just like, I need to stick with the princess the whole time, and Luke is like, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm gonna go do me.
Can I go
like-
run some errands real quick? I'll be back in a few.
Do you guys want
Yeah.
anything?
I'll go on Dagobah. You want anything?
I'll stop by the 7-Eleven on the way back if you guys want like some Dr. Pepper or something.
So I thought that was interesting, just the switcheroo there.
Yeah.
And then let's see.
One of my favorite things about this movie is that we have the big reveal where Darth Vader is like, "I'm your father," and Luke's like, "Holy shit!" And then he gets his hand cut off, and he like dangles, and he gets rescued. And then there's that moment where Darth Vader calls him on the Force, and is like, "Luke," and Luke is just like immediately like, "Father," like just immediately starts calling him dad, and I
Completely
think that's
accepted
the
it.
funniest thing on the planet.
Well, that's also adjacent to my favorite line delivery, which is "That's impossible." It's when you search your heart, you know it to be true.
Yeah.
Like those two lines are the movie for me. They make it for me. There's something about it's just pure fury, and I don't know if it's
Yeah.
acting, but it doesn't need to be.
Right.
Yeah.
The oh, and I talked about this a little bit on the last one. We talked about how the lightsaber fight in A New Hope is so
Sucks.
fucking bad.
So
But like the way that this movie like handles that one lightsaber fight is fascinating because like it's just because in Force or in not Force Awakens, in A New Hope, it seems like they're trying to make it like fencing. They're trying to make it really like light and quick
Yeah.
and like sort of pokey,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
Like they're just kind of trying to poke at each other. But
Yeah.
in this one, it feels like they're fighting with like two-handed broadswords. They're like just
Yeah.
there's so much like emotion and rage in it,
Yeah.
and they're just like swinging at each other like double-handed all the time. Just like there's a scene where or there's a shot. I can't remember who does it to who. I think it's Darth Vader coming at Luke, just like reels back and just like double-handed like swings the thing at him like the same
Yeah.
way like 3 times like over and over again, just like hammering at him, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like
No,
there's
it's-
something so tense about it.
Yeah.
I just love it so much more than just like I mean I really appreciate the choreography in the prequels, but there's just something so like perfect about like just having a character interaction like highlighted by two people just wailing on each other. It
Right.
doesn't matter with what and how.
This
But,
was
like,
an-
yeah.
This was another thing that I really, really liked about The Force Awakens was I love people who haven't been trained on exactly how to use a lightsaber using a lightsaber. Because
Yeah.
then when they use it, it's just all emotion because they have no training. So they're just
Right.
like using it how they think they need to use it in the moment or else they're going to die. And I just love that so much because it's so against the way of the Jedi to show any emotion and to have these people who haven't been trained but are using the Jedi weapon just purely out of emotion. It's I really like it.
Yeah. And like used to open up a tauntaun in the beginning by Han, and like
Yeah.
the way he looks at it when he does it, he's just like, "How does this thing work?"
Yeah, what
And
is this?
Like this is
He
fucking
never-
ridiculous. What the fuck is going on with this?
I can't imagine being in his position, using a lightsaber, and then being like, "I never want to use one of those again." Like if
Yeah.
it was me, it doesn't matter what animal I'm ripping open or if it's alive or dead. After that, I'm like all about lightsabers.
Right.
That's my life now.
It's intoxicating.
Unlimited power.
Do you have one more, Dan, before I give us the send off?
Let's see. There's a water park slide at the end of the movie.
Yes, good.
Very good.
There's the let's see. Let's see.
Star Wars characters from that one session of Star Wars D&D that we played.
Yeah, I was a Gungan. It was fun.
Yeah.
And me and
I
Ethan
was
just
a-
got actually super mad at each other, and then we just kind of stopped playing
Yeah.
because we created a hostile energy in the space.
Yeah.
All I have written here on this last page is the way that Han refers to Leia as sister, like "you got it, sister," like that is pretty fucked up, don't you think? That's all I've written here.
Oh, I wrote this down, but I forgot to say it. I like the way that their relationship progresses over the course of the movie, because they don't set it up like they have their big romantic moment like at the end, like during the climax. Like when
Mhm.
they get together, it's like a little bit less than halfway through the movie. So you've
Yeah.
still got plenty of time to spend with them as they are just sort of in a new relationship, sort of, and like figuring
Yeah.
out like what this looks like, you know?
Right.
I think it's
Yeah, and like the new trilogy is all about like getting them together and, you know, reconvening and having the romance of the situation. This one was like, oh, let's do our objectives, but also there's romance happening the whole time.
Right.
Ooh.
And they boil you like a frog in hot water. Like they slowly amp it up, and you don't
Yeah.
really see what's going on. And then after the movie, you're like, man, they were really into each other that whole movie, weren't they?
Yeah.
Right. But
You're
yeah,
like,
it's just
"Man,
like it's
I'm a
cool
loyal
so
frog."
often. Like it's fun to see people be a couple in movies like this.
Yeah,
Like I think
absolutely.
like romances aside, because that would be boring in like a romance movie. But like in a movie where a romance is like a subplot, I think that is kind of the platonic ideal. I think it's a lot more fun to see two people get together and then be a couple for a while before the movie ends than it is to like save the big kiss for after they beat the bad guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in terms of
absolutely.
character interactions, I always think that's going to be more interesting.
Right. It's like a movie wouldn't be destroyed by the fact, like, if, like, in that title crawl for the movie after, it reveals that they had maybe gotten separated. Like, they're not together anymore, but they had that moment in their movie, and it was self-contained, and it was just a
Right.
real thing.
Yeah.
Like, instead of it being all about, like, oh my god, it happened off screen, we need a whole movie to show us what happened.
Right.
Like, you have, you were sort of talking about it earlier, funnily enough, with the lightsabers. Is how in the first one it's like fencing, it's very like gentleman-like. Like it's I would say like the whole movie itself, A New Hope, is very King Arthur-esque.
Right.
Because obviously there's a lot taken from it. But with Empire, it feels like a war movie. It is like wholly original. It is there, like it really sticks away from the tropes, and the whole time like you have these people who are just wailing on each other, using weapons to open up animals. Like everything is
Right.
very like everything's used practically.
Mhm.
Whereas in the first one, everything is more about like poise and style, and you know it is a difference in the direction. Like George Lucas wanted to have like this King Arthur self-insert kind of thing, and then this director was like, no, I'm going to make a movie instead of whatever you just did. And you know, this came out, and then
Instead of
you get
whatever
back to the
fuck that was.
prequels and you get back to the prequels, and it's like an attempt at Shakespearean King Arthur, and it's just really weird. And
Mhm.
the like none of the relationships feel real, but in this one, like like nothing like of substance happens really with Lando before he betrays them, and you still get so excited with the fact that he like comes back to help the cause later. Like
Right,
that he
yeah.
wants to help, that he wants to be part of it, because you like it, you just genuinely like him, even though everything he's talked about was literally like, oh yeah, my gas mines, they're doing okay. Like
Right, yeah.
he's literally talking business with Han, and even Han is just like, oh, it's super weird to hear you talk like this because you know you're like a businessman, and like that leads into the trap. Like
Right.
it's just so casual, but it's like there's something so real about that in like the Star War.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it's so funny that we all like accept Lando after that. Like, it's so
Immediately.
insane that you could write a character, like, give a performance that's just so fucking charismatic that like the character can literally sell out all of the protagonists of the movie, give them over to the bad guys, lead to their ultimate failing at the end of the movie, and then at the beginning of the next movie, you're just like, oh, yeah, but you're cool though. You can tag along if you want
You're
to.
part of the gang now.
It seems
You
like
know,
you
like-
feel bad. You can come on.
You know, a classic Babu Freak situation.
Is that what Babu Frick does? Does he sell them out?
No,
Oh.
no, it's about half of that though.
He's kind of the Tinkerbell of this movie in that way.
God, I fucking
Yeah.
love Tinkerbell.
Fair enough.
So, would you guys like to hear a 1-star review of Empire Strikes Back from Letterboxd.com?
Please.
I sure would.
So this person gives the movie, as I said, 1 star. They say, if you have this as your favorite movie, you're a nerd, and you probably annoy your girlfriend by pressuring her to review movies for your entertainment. You should probably buy her presents. Edit, : if you tell your girlfriend you'll only buy her a vegan chocolate muffin if she changes her review to 5 stars, you are disrespecting her and undermining the integrity of the art of film criticism.
That's really punctuated at the end. Criticism.
This is
I'm trying to
That's-
figure out if this is autobiographical or not.
I need a
definitely
movie
is.
about that.
Oh my god. I see.
That's excellent.
I was like, oh, this isn't really an insult, but it's like it's weird that they're like, you're a nerd, but also you have a girlfriend. It's like usually it's you're a nerd and you don't have a girlfriend. But now I
Right.
realize that this is her boyfriend that she's talking about.
So anyway,
Yeah.
my
Lots
name's
to unpack
Jackson
there, for
McMurray.
sure.
My name's Adeline McMurray. That's
And
And
that's Dan.
not my turn.
And that is Dan.
And this has been No Nerds Allowed. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry we talked about cars and war so much.
Cars of Vor and the
One of these
Cardboard.
days
Whoa.
we won't talk about vor.
So when we do our separate Cars Vor podcast, which we will, it should be called Cars of Vor, and it should be a parody of the God of War poster for the podcast art.
Wow.
I mean, or you could just do like Star Wars, Car Wars.
Car
you know.
Wars. Fuck.
Car
God damn it.
Wars.
That was right in
There-
front of me.
Sky's the limit. Yeah, I think if I had to rate my experience here, I would say it was a very fun feature here that I got to do. Thanks for having me on, of course. I think we could have talked a little bit more about cars, but
Yeah.
we'll leave that
Yeah.
for next time. That
We'll
way I
leave
can
it.
come back. You guys, I'll just quick synopsis. Cars 1, everybody's seen it. It's great.
Mhm.
Cars 2 is a spy film.
Yeah.
And then Cars 3 is like Cars 1, but different.
Yeah.
So you do get this fun little Toy Story bookend kind of thing on just a weird series. But definitely give that a look. And then once you guys have done your homework, feel free to come back and we can talk car wars.
Do you guys remember when the first trailer and poster dropped for Cars 3? And it was
Yes.
just Lightning McQueen fucking dying.
Yeah. Oh
And
my
like
God.
you couldn't see his eyes in any of them. It was just like
Yeah.
dramatic slow motion footage of a car crash that was
Yep.
Lightning McQueen. I was
Yeah.
working at a movie theater when that came out, and I have a full-size theatrical poster of that first Cars 3 poster in my room.
Hell
God,
yeah.
do you?
What's the poster?
It's just the one where he's like upside down and you can't see his face, and it just says Cars
Why would
3.
you market it that way on a poster?
I don't know. It's him like mid-crash dying.
We're gonna get that Fast 8 crowd for this one.
Ugh.
Oh man. Okay. Well, Empire Strikes Back, terrible movie.
Right, bad.
Zero stars.
And
But
if your
it
girlfriend
was
doesn't like
good-
it, you're disrespecting her wishes, and you should get her a chocolate vegan muffin.
we love Gremlin Yoda. He makes the movie. He really builds that second act where like you don't have a whole lot of meaningful dialogue in the first half of the movie, and then all your meaningful dialogue kind of starts with Han and Leia on their own and Luke and Yoda, and that is excellent storytelling. So
Yeah.
I am super into that.
What does that say? I wrote it down. I did say it on the actual podcast, but this movie really is just like Luke goes to wizard school and Han and Leia go on a road trip that gets interrupted by their dad. That really is the whole movie.
Yeah, and you know what? That's all you need.
All right. Okay, we've been running
You know
super
what?
long on
No,
this one.
hold on.
Okay.
Tesla cars in the Cars universe are like Daft Punk, like with the helmets.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna stop recording.
So-
Now
Was that in
show
Cars
that
3?
show.
I feel like I missed that. I feel like I should have known that.
Well, wait, because there are like real cars in the Cars movies, right? Like all the cars are like based on actual real life
Yeah.
cars.
It's all based on real life.
Are there
It's a documentary.
are there Teslas in it at any point?
I don't think Teslas were a thing for them.
They were definitely
Maybe-
for the third one.
Yeah, maybe in the third. Maybe there's like a stuck up. Maybe that's one of the new millennial racers that Lightning McQueen hates.
Right.
Maybe that's one of them. He's a Tesla.
I also
And
think
he's
you
like,
guys.
I only drink vegan electricity. And Lightning McQueen's like, I'm an American. I drink gasoline.
All right. Not to get too serious here, I do have to vouch for Cars 3. The marketing makes it look very anti-millennial, but the
Yeah.
whole point of the movie is like actually being super old and not recognizing when you're past your limits is really dumb.
Right.
So
I was gonna
it
say,
does
I
kinda do
saw-
that switcheroo on you.
I watched Cars 3 at a certain point. I don't remember a lot of it, but I do remember just being like, yeah, that was fine. I was
Yeah,
like, I was sure.
I was really prepared for it to be like super anti-millennial, and
Right.
it
Yeah.
it definitely did not do that.
I just love the Griffin McElroy rant
Yeah.
about Cars 3.
It's historic. It's very good.
A classical work. I've had that picture of the dragon on the stream this whole time. I guess I should
Yeah,
probably
no, I know.
take
I've
that
got the
away.
Discord chat open. I've just been staring at it too.
Yeah.
I don't think I would say Cars 3 is the best. I think Cars 1 is still the best because like that movie's pretty good, I think.
Cars 1's the best.
Yeah.
Cars 1's the best.
Yeah, Cars 1 is the best one.
Cars 2 is
Real
buck
here?
wild.
Yeah. I guess I
to be
have
fair, I
seen
have
all
not-
of them.
I have not watched the Cars movies since I wasn't a literal child. They were not my favorite. I never liked the car designs, and the fact that the plot had nothing to do with them being cars was a little bit of a turnoff. I don't know. I think I need to give them a fair shot again.
You always say that. They race. They're race cars. The whole plot's
Yeah,
about
but-
racing.
That's what humans do, Jackson. We race cars.
So you're saying it should be
If it
about
was-
fucking track and field runners?
No, it should be about a human race car driver.
Or the cars are still piloted by humans, and it's about the cars, like one of
Like
those
Toy
horse
Story
movies.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like Warhorse, but
because the
Warhorse is a
cars-
car.
but because the cars are fully in control of the cars, it's almost like they could just be human drivers.
Yeah.
So I'm realizing now, in the
That's
back
not
of my
fun.
head, I was always like, I haven't seen all the Cars movies. Like, I'd have to catch up for this series. But I'm realizing now, with looking back on it, that I did see literally every one of them in theaters.
Hell yeah.
I saw Cars 1 in theaters when I was a child. I saw
Uh-huh.
Cars 2 when I was probably too old to be seeing Cars 2, but we saw it with like the cousins at Christmas or something.
Yeah.
And then Cars 3 came out when I was working at the movie theater, so I saw Cars
That's so
3 in
funny.
theaters for free.
Yeah.
Right.
Why do I not remember anything about Cars 2 or 3?
I just remember
Cars-
getting to the end of Cars 2 where they're like explaining the like mystery and like what actually happened and sitting there as like a 12-year-old and just being like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I was an intelligent person. I could follow a mystery. I could not follow whatever the fuck they were talking about at the end of Cars 2.
It's so weird because Cars 1 is just like, oh, this is an identity crisis about a racer. It's very grounded into reality. And then Cars 2
Yeah.
is like, in this one, Mater gets a missile launcher and he saves the Queen of England, who is also a car. And then the
Yeah.
third one, you have, so this one is about being grounded and realizing when, like, it's a mirror, but in the middle of that mirror, there's the horrible monster that comes out of the mirror, which is Larry the Cable
Tow
Guy
Mater,
as
yeah.
Mater.
Yeah.
Well, because Tow Mater is the protagonist of the second one, and
Yeah.
they go, "Oh fuck, that was a bad idea," and then they
Like,
go
why did
back
we
to
do that?
being the protagonist.
You know what rules though is the Cars ride at California Adventure.
Yeah, that fucking slaps.
Haven't been
I
on
love
it.
the Cars
That's
ride.
the best Cars movie in my opinion.
Yeah, the Cars ride.
Is there not an
Ugh.
Orlando equivalent to that one?
No, there's not a Cars one. We are getting a Ratatouille one in Epcot
Oh,
though.
fuck,
Oh.
I'm
hell yeah!
extremely excited.
Oh fuck yeah!
The Cars. Okay, so the Cars world in California Adventure is so fucking sick
Oh, it's so cool.
because
the
it's like
Yeah.
like a 1-to-1 recreation, like scale recreation of like the street from the town from Cars.
yeah,
and,
it's
like,
so cool.
At night, it like all lights up with the neon, and you can
and they
see
like play the funky music.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
and you can see like the fake mountains that are all sort of like lit by a nice warm light off in the background that
Yeah.
they have put up around it. It's like literally the best vibes of any singular place on earth, I feel.
Yeah, God.
So
Like, I don't mean to be
wanna get
dramatic about it.
COVID, but I want to Disneyland so fucking
Yeah.
bad. We didn't get to go to Disneyland this summer, and I know there are bigger problems in the world, but god damn it, I'm so sad about it.
Because, like, we've been there twice
Valid.
since that thing went up. And I don't want to be
Yeah.
dramatic about it, but, like, just in my heart, like, deep down, I don't think I ever just feel more at peace as a person than when I'm at Cars Land at California Adventure.
I took really, really well, like unexpectedly, to Galaxy's Edge. here
Oh,
in
yeah.
Orlando.
We still haven't been.
And I'm kind of bummed that I've only been able to go like once I realized I was actually into it, because I always act like I don't like Star Wars, and then I
Right.
watch Empire Strikes Back and I'm like, I love Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars rules.
But like I went there and it was just like so immersive and so cool. And meanwhile, our Cars representation in Orlando is next to the Aerosmith's Rockin' Roller Coaster. There's
Fuck.
just
Is
like
that a real thing? God
two
damn
of the
it.
new characters from Cars 3. I put up finger quotes for new because the
Yeah.
movie's been out for quite a while now.
Right.
Yep.
And it's just a picture taking area. There's nothing else.
Oh yeah.
I just started a new delivery driver job, so I've been listening to the radio a lot more than usual.
Uh-huh.
And I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think I have come to the decision that Aerosmith might be my least favorite band.
Okay. After the Cars episodes, we can talk about Aerosmith for an episode because
Okay.
I have full just theories and weird
A lot of thoughts
relationship
about
with
Aerosmith. Okay,
I
noted.
grew up loving Aerosmith, and then only recently have I gone back and realized that I think all of their fame was fabricated by Disney for this ride.
What is that ride? Wait, so why is there an Aerosmith ride at Disney World?
Oh my god.
Because they wanted what was it? What band was it? They wanted a different band.
Oh,
To just basically use for the same purpose, like having a ride and doing like a music ride, because they basically had the music ride thing built before they even picked a band.
right.
They were like, they knew how to sync up the music, they had everything, like
Can you
logistically speaking.
imagine?
They
Can
just
you imagine if it was Imagine Dragons?
didn't. And then it was next to the Cars photo op area, and then we're
Yeah.
back to
And we're back. Welcome home.
Gargoyles.
Yeah.
This is our new
But
podcast,
yeah, no,
Gargoyles.
like they just whatever band they were trying to get, I really honestly I forget which one it was, but they were just like, you can't afford us. And then Disney was like, you're actually right, because this was a while ago.
Right.
Correct.
And then they were like, well, Aerosmith's okay. They just came out with a pretty good single, and they were like, hey, Aerosmith, do you guys want to ride and just basically sign with us and do this weird stuff? And they're like, yeah. And then Disney was like, okay, we're gonna sell the shit out of your records, whether they're good or not.
You could just
And
imagine,
they're
like,
gonna be
laying
playing on
back.
the radio everywhere.
Like laying
And-
back on a roller
Yep.
coaster, getting your shit rocked by a roller coaster, listening to "Dude Looks Like a Lady" by Aerosmith.
Yep.
Yeah. Like they're famous songs like they list on the ride or whatever. Like you can see all those references. Like, oh yes, this song that was very famous for about a month when it played on the radio, but it still sold golden record. Like,
Right.
yeah, like it's
Love in
just
an elevator, and they send you down a dip,
yep.
and then you get blown by somebody in an elevator at the end of the ride.
Yeah. It's
Oh, you
like,
weren't supposed to know about that part.
Oh, is that part of
it's
the
like,
secret?
oh god.
I wanted to leave that for you. Spoiler.
It's gonna be a surprise.
Everybody knows that's better when it's a surprise.
It's like Tower of Terror, but different.
It's like Tower of Terror, but really different.
God, I just remember I was so mad because Coco is like my favorite Pixar movie. I love Coco, but Disneyland didn't do shit about Coco. Like, no rides, no nothing, like, no merch. The only merch was a stuffed animal, and I walked around the park with a stuffed animal, and I had like 20 families ask me where I got it because there's just like nothing Coco at Disneyland. But they had a statue of Hector for a little bit for you just to like take fucking pictures with, like by the bathrooms, because they don't give a shit. But then they had taken them down by the time that we got there, like not that long after the movie had come out, and I was just pissed and mad.
I was gonna say, in fairness, though, we went to Disneyland like a month after that movie came out, right?
But it's Disneyland.
Yeah,
They would have
okay.
stuff ready.
Yeah.
I remember like a month after Zootopia came out, I was like, where the hell is all this Zootopia stuff? And they still don't have it. So
And they still
whatever.
don't have any. Well, because California is supposed to be fucking Pixar's land, because car stuff is. They were like, we're changing it up because a California-themed park in California is fucking
Is
stupid.
fuck wild.
A weird idea.
Yeah, so we're gonna make it Pixar-themed instead, because that makes just so much fucking more sense after you bought Pixar. Like, there was just no Coco stuff. There was like a sign and a stuffed animal and a statue that they took down, and it's like, great, I'm sad.
But they made
Well,
California Screamin' Incredibles themed, and that made it
Yeah.
like the best ride in the whole park. It was so good.
Yeah, because it fucking rules. And then
So
they
the,
haven't changed the just the water raft ride to Brave themed yet, but it's only a matter of time. They've got
Yeah,
the
you're
Bear
right.
Mountain
Actually, I
already.
think.
Yeah, I mean the Mexico Pavilion in Disney World Epcot, they have a lot of Coco
Oh,
representation.
that's good. I love Coco.
And then inside, because they have the temple that you can go into, which is also the restaurant. So they sell a bunch of merchandise in the restaurant, but they also have like build your like undead Sona.
Oh fuck yeah!
Like it's very cool. And I really do have a feeling that they're probably going to change the little ride that they have in the restaurant to Coco as well, because people seem to really be taking to it. And like you said, you got approached by so many people
Yeah.
looking for it.
Right.
There's definitely a
There's
market.
a huge Hispanic population,
Yeah.
and like they fucking love
Yeah,
that
in
movie because
SoCal.
it's great
Yeah.
and it's awesome representation.
And
then
Florida.
there was just like nothing, and it's like we're in California, dude. Why isn't there anything here?
Yeah.
Because we've never been to Florida. We have lived in Washington our whole
Good.
lives, so we always just went to the California one. And like our family, we go to Disneyland like every few years, like every 3 or 4 years, we plan a Disney trip.
Yeah.
And every time we're like, maybe we'll splurge this time and we'll go to Florida for Disney World. But we always are just like, no, let's just stick with Disneyland because we know it and we know we like it.
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
like don't want to go somewhere else.
Yeah. You're going to compare it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have some friends that went to Disneyland Paris, and like for all like the really cool stuff that they saw that they had to point out, they were also like, yeah, but I really missed this. I'm like, yeah, that's the
Right.
thing about Disney. You go there because you're cozy. Like that's
Yeah.
that's a vacation in the relaxed kind of way where you're just like, oh, I just want to go because I know exactly what I'm signing up for.
Right.
Yeah. You don't go for the thrills necessarily. You
Right.
have some thrills when you're there if you can find a right ride for it.
Yeah.
But
Man, theme
it's
parks
not
are so
about it.
good. I miss theme parks so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, me too. Oh
Let's
my
all go
God.
to Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's in. No, I'm trying to
Orlando.
remember. Is that one in Florida?
They're building it now, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Damn.
I don't know if they've sped up on production or slowed down.
I think
because
they
their parks
finished
are
building
open.
it. They just aren't going to open it for a while.
Yeah. I mean, they're not doing Horror Nights this year, which is huge. Like,
Oh yeah. I
as
heard
far
that.
as Orlando goes, like you can consider, in Jaws, when the mayor is just like, well, I can't shut down the beach for the holiday weekend. It's too much business.
Right.
Like that's the kind of shit I expected Universal to pull. And
Right.
honestly, maybe even like Orlando government to pull,
Right.
because having people come in for Horror Nights is like such an economic boom for us every
Oh,
year,
Right.
because people will just stay anywhere they can. Just like they'll drive an hour drunk from Horror Nights back to their hotels. And like we have cops everywhere, posted everywhere in October. Like they're just
Wow.
as far as the eye can see on every road.
So what is
And,
it? I
like-
don't know this thing.
Oh, so Halloween Horror Nights is a Universal property, and it is basically, I think you guys also have it in the Universal California, but it is basically just interactive haunted houses that you walk through.
Right.
They're like walkthrough experiences where there are scare actors that try to spook you as you walk through.
Mm-hmm.
They're all very like themed, and nowadays they're almost all themed after like your Blumhouse films and like
Right.
scary movie kind of stuff. So everything very licensed, but they open up basically all of the Universal Studios part, because we have Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios. They're attached. But they keep Universal Studios open at night after the normal park hours. And they set up just a bunch of like just scare zones and stuff, like everything,
Yeah.
again, very licensed. Like it's like a really immersive experience where there are just tons of places to get ridiculous amounts of liquor and walk around and have people shout at you.
Right.
Yeah,
I was gonna
And
say,
obviously you had to skip that this year.
Right. In Salt Lake City, that's where I'm at right now, is in Salt Lake City.
Gotcha.
They, for some reason, just like the local culture here is such that we're like so into fucking hardcore ass haunted houses. There are
Oh,
like
okay.
billboards
Like the
up
ones where they
everywhere that
literally
are
kidnap
like,
you.
yeah, where they're like, you have to sign a fucking waiver because you literally might die in this haunted house. Like, there's like 4 of those around that are like huge deals. If Anna, if you're listening, you could probably speak to that a little bit better than I could because I'm newer
That
here.
seems
But
so
like,
weird. I was about to say because like Salt Lake City, I know is like liquor stores are closed on Sundays. Like that seems like
Right.
so contrary to like the
Well,
vibe.
you
yeah,
gotta fill that time. You gotta
Yeah.
seek that thrill.
By thinking that you're gonna fucking die.
you got to get the shit beat out of you by somebody dressed as Frankenstein in October.
Hell yeah!
You like go in
God, I
there
miss
and
it
there's
so
just like
much.
you go in there and it's just like a dude in a room with like a pillowcase full of batteries, just like
Yeah.
beats the
So,
shit out of you.
And it's just somebody dressed like the Frankenstein's monster just punching the shit out of the guy is so funny to me.
A couple years ago, for one of our horror nights, we had a Krampus themed house,
Yeah,
and honestly, I feel like it should just have a permanent spot in there, just because like it was so pleasant.
yeah.
It was weirdly not scary, in a way that like
Kinda
it wasn't like they
soothing.
messed up, but they tried to build the theme around like you're at grandma's house and you're like it's Yule and there's like the smell of like cloves and cinnamon and all this. Like you walk into a kitchen and yeah, there's gore everywhere in it. But you walk into a kitchen and it looks like before all the gore, it was a very cozy kitchen and it smells like cookies
Right.
and it smells amazing.
That's awesome.
And this whole time, there's just this disconnect where you're like, sorry, there's too many comfort synapses happening right
Yeah.
now.
It
I
smells
cannot
too good in
process
here
any
for me
scare.
to be scared. Yeah.
It's good smells because you're immediately gonna be put at ease no matter what's happening. Like
Exactly.
smells is gonna like
It's a stronger
negate
scent. Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
I wonder if you
and
could
it's
ever get like a
so
complicated
good.
enough like flavor profile and like an artificial scent like that where you could be like pine tree undercut with rotting flesh. Like,
Yeah, are you
You think they
talking
could pull that
about
off?
a fear-inducing smell?
Ooh. Is this
they must do
a
that,
deep
right?
cut?
I mean,
Oh, I thought
our,
it was a
our
reference.
smell is so
Oh.
important for the human body that like any kind of like nice smell is like yeah, like I think if you went into a regular terrifying haunted house, but the whole time it just smelled like cinnamon, I think it wouldn't be scary anymore. Like honestly,
Yeah, it's extremely distracting. Even if it's not pleasant, it's distracting.
Right. We should
Yeah.
do an experiment.
where it's like what's the scariest smell?
So there is a very particular smell to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando, and it is
just
mostly latex.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also-
I was expecting you to
latex
say
and
like
alcohol.
piss and BO, but
Well, also that. So it's
Okay.
mostly latex. It's like 98% latex. No, maybe 97. Then 2% alcohol, 1% BO. But because scent is such a strong thing, once you smell that BO, that's all you smell.
right.
Like, but it's like it's BO combined with the latex and like
Oh.
because they do so much makeup and so many props and
Right.
everything.
Hold on.
So it's
I
like
literally just found a BBC article that's literally talking about what we're talking about. Like horror smells and care smells are being used to manipulate emotions.
Oh.
wonderful. That's what Disney needs to pipe in on Main Street is some good rotting flesh smells around Halloween.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I feel like theme parks love doing like smell stuff, like when you're doing like soaring over California or like like
Yeah.
the cookie thing. Like it seems like just natural that you would pump gnarly smells into a horror zone. Do they do that, or do they not? Have they not gotten
I
that
think
far
they.
yet?
I'm starting
don't
to
have
think that they
technology.
do. I'm like trying to remember some of the houses I went to. Like they definitely have like rotting wood down because like there
Oh.
are like sheds and like butcheries and like every year there are like different ones
That's a
that
cool
kind of
scent. That's
have
like
like
a
that
deep cut
similar
scent.
vibe. Yeah, because it's not all that hard to acquire because really all you just need is like wet and wood smell together and just
Right.
leave it for like an hour. And then like I know that they definitely don't try to to pipe in good smells, and I think that just naturally makes the theme park smell bad. I mean, the whole reason that like Disney pipes in the good smells isn't to get you to spend money; it's to make things not smell like you're in a theme park with
Right.
1,000 other people.
Cover up the BO
Yeah, I think
of hundreds of people
for
in
Horror
100
Nights they
degree
just
heat
like
walking
they
around
turn
all
off
day.
in Horror Nights, like they're not cooking all night, so you're not smelling any food like you would at a theme park. So all you're smelling are really like the people around you and the haunted houses that smell like the Halloween store.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess
Because I know
naturally,
this year I think the theme was gonna be Beetlejuice, but since they canceled it, they just have a store
Yeah.
that's Beetlejuice themed this year.
yeah, everybody was really excited for Beetlejuice, and of course, ironically, he won't turn up.
Yeah.
We're all
Juicy
chanting
Man.
We
Beetlejuice,
didn't
but
say
he
his name
won't
enough
appear.
times.
Wait, one more. If they just have people at Universal Studios just chanting Beetlejuice till he shows up.
Oh man, it would have been that would have been great. Maybe I could still make that happen. It's not Halloween
Yeah,
yet.
I'm sure they'll just delay it.
Hey, all my Orlando friends who are listening, meet me there on Wednesday.
I wonder, do you
with,
think
like-
it's likely, like, if it does come to pass that we hit, like, March and we're all like, oh, yeah, it's cool now. You think they would do, like, Horror Nights later? Do you think that would be fun, or do you think they would just skip it?
I think, okay, if it was Disney, no way. But because it's Universal and they're just always like really weird and super wild card about all their stuff,
Everything.
I think they might do it like a summer, like a July Horror Nights kind of thing.
That would
Yeah.
be fun.
That would be cool.
But then do you do it twice in, like, 4 months, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll name it something like Horror Nights blah 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 0.5. I forget what number we're on.
Right.
Yeah.
So many of them.
They'll call
They
it,
are
like,
selling-
Sleepy Summer.
They are selling like the old T-shirts from the other ones at the parks now, because the parks are open, even if Horror Nights isn't.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like really funny because they've got like some signs up. So like for like the security check-in where like they screen you for pockets and stuff.
Yeah.
There's like just one lone sign over in the corner, and it's just like scare actors through here, and it's just like not being used, and it's just so sad.
A lone sign.
Bad news.
It's
Will
just
you remember me?
it's an Orlando, like it's a huge thing here. It's like our cultural festival, you might even call it. Like
Right.
it's so weird not having it this year because like
Oh,
the
yeah.
roads are emptier, police presence is smaller,
Right.
all this different stuff. Like businesses aren't like open forever. Like they're closing
Right.
at reasonable
It just
hours.
doesn't
because not
feel like the
everybody's drunk.
season.
It doesn't at all. I have to fabricate all the Halloween spooks this year for
Yeah, you
myself.
just gotta get drunk at home.
Yeah, and that's so hard because I don't know. I don't have people shouting at me, and I don't feel like I have a fear to surmount.
Yeah.
Like that's the
I
whole
don't feel
reason
as
you
if
drink at
someone's gonna
Horror
just
Nights.
randomly attack me.
Yeah, the whole reason you drink at Horror Nights is because like I need to fucking mellow out.
Because yeah,
Too
all
many people
the
here want my head.
all the stuff here in Salt Lake City is like, we fucking require you to wear a diaper at this because we know you're gonna shit your pants. Like, like just the most hardcore, over the top Halloween like haunted
Yeah.
houses you can imagine. Like they're all like, this ain't your fucking daddy's haunted house.
Yeah.
If you bring your
We're gonna
dad, he'll
kill-
probably die.
We
So
kill a
bring your
dog
dad.
right in front of you.
You get in there and it's just a bunch of pictures of your loved ones. And you're like, oh no, the eyes are scratched out of them.
They just actually fully kidnap you.
I think the weirdest part is how Universal really waited till the last second to tell everybody that they're not doing Horror Nights because
Oh,
they
did they
had the
really?
website up and everything. Like it
Ugh.
was just a matter of they did not turn on ticket sales, because if they had gone that far, like there's no way they could have stopped. So like
right.
you know that they were just like they had their finger on the button and they were like, "Ugh, let's just not
maybe
do it."
it'll stop. Maybe COVID will end right now.
Right now, check it. Did you check yet? Check again, super quick before I
Refresh
hit
the
it.
webpage.
Yeah.
Because ticket sales start like 6 months before. Like that's when they start hyping it up.
Right.
So it's like they could have thought like it'll probably be gone.
Right. Yeah.
I'm so glad they didn't because I live here. I don't want
Oh,
to
yeah.
die,
Yeah, exactly.
but also I'm so mad because I really want to go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, I want to go to Disneyland. I want to go to
Yeah.
amusement parks. But it's like, please don't go.
Yeah.
And also, if you're from out of state, mega please don't go.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
COVID.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like as much as you can do, like Horror Nights is definitely just impossible because
Right.
Yeah,
I-
it's just too many
even if
Requires
everybody
people
wore
yelling
masks,
at you.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
like the
even if all
least
the
safe
scare
activity.
yeah, like even if they only did haunted houses where the scare actors wore masks, like the distance and the BO and just
Mhm.
everybody touching everything everywhere. It's just
Well,
there's
and if you're drinking, you can't be
Yeah.
wearing a mask
Yeah.
because you're
exactly
consuming
yeah.
a
That's
liquid.
I'm wondering like because Food and Wine is going at Epcot, and I don't know how. Like
yeah.
it's there's not tables everywhere around every pavilion. Like the whole point is to walk around, drink, and eat. And I'm like, if the rule is that when you're not at a table and you have to walk, you have to take off your mask, how is anybody enjoying themselves?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just don't go. Just cancel it.
Yeah,
Just
just
do it
don't.
later.
Yeah, like
Ugh.
just wait a year. Like if you have the money to buy a ticket and like go on a trip, then just wait. Just put that money in a
Yeah.
box and wait.
Yeah. No, I've always had this fantasy. I was like, it would be really cool if the theme parks in Orlando were just like one year they decided we're all going to close this year. And when you see us again, we're going to be like completely different, fully updated.
Right.
Because they can work so fast when there's nobody there.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
whole reason that it takes forever to like build new rides and stuff. So they still have their everyday, functions.
Uh-huh.
But it's like
Mhm.
if they just wanted to close for a year while like all this was happening, and then they just wanted to come out the other end, like, hey, virus is over. We have 7 new Little Mermaid rides. You're gonna go on all
Yeah.
of them.
Hashtag virus is over party.
Fast
Visiting your
passage,
dad's
sick
virus.
per visit.
I miss fucking movies so bad right now.
Yeah.
And like there was that brief moment when like New Mutants and Tenet and everything came out, and I was like,
Yeah.
I've got a drive-in theater. I'm gonna be there every fucking week. I'm gonna be supporting these things. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
being safe and watching new movies all the time. And then it just kind of never really happened. Like nobody saw Tenet, and we just decided not to anymore. And I'm so mad. I'd been holding out for that like light at the end of the tunnel of Tenet, and now I gotta wait some more.
Last night we went to a local park and they did like a picnic type screening, like a drive-in where
Yeah.
everybody just sits out on blankets and stuff. And it was let's see, it was the Wolfman meets the Frankenstein monster or something like that. Or
That's
Frankenstein
awesome.
monster meets the Wolfman,
Yeah.
and a whole lot of nothing happens in that movie.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
It sounds so exciting. It sounds like the Avengers of
Yeah.
of like horror icons, but it's extremely underwhelming. But it was really
Yeah.
cool to like go and do that. Like they're doing a whole bunch like locally, so
Right.
My
if you're
favorite-
listening, check out
My
that
favorite
kind of
like
stuff.
old timey horror movie is I love Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, because you think, oh haha, two funny dudes like meet Frankenstein, and like comedy does ensue. But at the end of that movie, they fucking kill Frankenstein's monster by stranding him on a dock and setting the dock on fire till he burns to death.
Jesus.
So yeah, and they just show the full thing. It's definitely like a puppet that they're like moving around, but like that you
Yeah.
watch that sucker burn.
It's like the Passion of Joan of Arc.
Yeah, it is. It is like that.
Yeah, the end of this Wolfman and Frankenstein movie was honestly so abrupt. Basically, they are in Frankenstein's mansion. Dr. Frankenstein, Victor, is dead. But the Wolfman is looking through his notes to try to find a way to die. And Frankenstein's monster is there. And then another doctor comes up and says that he can help the Wolfman not be a wolf, and also maybe help the Frankenstein monster not be a monster. And then he just like, after like a day, he's like, no, I'm going to be like Victor Frankenstein. And then chooses to make Frankenstein more powerful than ever, quote, by electrocuting him even further.
Right.
Oh.
Give
And
him
then
more energy.
Wolfman gets mad and they fight, and then a rando from the town over just happens to be planting dynamite underneath the castle at that moment and blows it up, and then the whole place fills with water, and then as you think the scene is about to change and you're going to get a transition, the end. like all of your main characters actually die off screen.
Love old
in-
movies so
Oh
much.
man.
Drowning or being crushed or whatever. Yeah.
So my local drive-in, for a long time, they were just kind of showing whatever. They would show Spider-Man or
Yeah.
like whatever old movie they wanted to put on. But now it seems like they're really trying to double down on new releases again. And let me tell you what's playing at my local theater right now. First of all, Coco Hocus Pocus. All right, sort
Yeah,
of Halloween
that's big.
themed, fun
Makes
stuff.
sense.
Next, Henchmen, which is apparently an animated movie I've literally never heard of until right this
Oh,
instant.
one of those.
It's
What was
more
Tosh's
with
game
the dwarf.
called? Was that called Henchmen?
Are you talking about the Igor movie?
No, it's a new movie. It's just called Henchmen. And then
Henchmen.
The War with Grandpa,
Oh yeah, that one,
which I
of
think
course.
we're all aware of. A pair of movies called Yellow Rose and The Broken Hearts Gallery, and then Tenet and The Possessor, which actually I want to see. It's the
Hold on.
movie by David Cronenberg's son
Yeah.
that people say is pretty good. I
Hold on,
actually I
I
didn't
just
realize
looked
they were
up
showing that in theaters. I might have to go see that sometime soon.
I just looked up Henchmen, and I was gonna make a joke that it looks exactly like Fortnite. But now I think that it actually does have connections to Fortnite, and now
Oh.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay, let's see. Henchman movie. What was Tasha's VR game that she did for class? What was that called?
Tosh.
I don't know if Tasha's still here. It does look like Fortnite, though, for sure.
Yeah, it looks exactly like Fortnite.
3 Sundays from now, that same park that I saw Wolfman Frankenstein at is going to be playing Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit,
Oh, fuck
and I am
yeah.
so
Ooh.
down for that.
Oh my god, listen to this cast. Thomas Middleditch, James Marsden, Rosario Dawson, Alfred Molina, Will Sasso, Nathan Fillion, Jane Krakowski, Craig Robinson, and Bobcat Goldthwait. What the fuck? That's the whole cast listing. I know all of those people.
What the fuck? That's
Ugh, one of those movies. Your classic Secret Life of Pets.
Wow. I don't know if I've been doing a video series on my channel where I watch every direct to streaming movie. I'm trying to do it all year. We'll see how long I go. But there are a lot of these foreign animated movies that they're not necessarily they are made in other countries, but they're still in English to be produced in America, which is a red flag.
Right.
There was one called Pets United on Netflix, which was on Wikipedia. It just said it was a Chinese, German, British movie, which I don't know how that works.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, but it's so weird because the movie is in English, but it's definitely been translated at some point.
Right.
So the characters will just say things with it's not technically incorrect, but just definitely not how you would say that.
Yeah. Contextually, just gibberish.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've had to watch a handful. There's one called Fearless where I don't even know how to fucking describe Fearless. So there's a kid who there's a kid who likes video games too much. So then 3 babies from his favorite video game come out of the video game into the real world.
one of those baby video games?
And he has to take care of them until the protagonist of the video game comes to pick them up in the real world, until he can get out into the real world from the game world.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it was really, really not good. I did not
It's
particularly
definitely one
enjoy
of
that
those
one.
movies made by someone who has never actually played a video game before,
Yeah,
Or seen a movie.
right.
or seen the movie, or animated anything.
But and they try to play it oh, this is the hardest video game in the world. People have never gotten to the final level, and he's the first kid who does, and it turns out that that's just what happens when you get to the final level.
You get
Which
the
is-
babies come.
Yeah, like babies come out of your TV and you have to take care of them. But
The
I
Ring
feel
style.
like the whole like this is the hardest game in the world and nobody's ever made it to this level thing is like a narrative device that
It's
has
based on nothing.
literally never happened in the real world ever.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever made a video game that people couldn't finish relatively
That
quickly
people
after its
haven't been
release?
like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you could just look into the code of a game and
Yeah.
See what's there.
figure out what's there.
What
Yeah.
was
Just, like
that game that was really popular for like a hot second, where it's like you're the guy with your lower half is a cauldron, and it has like janky mechanics, and
Oh,
you're trying
right.
to make it up the mountain.
Getting over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of like that, but not the same at all.
Well, no, because you can beat it. People beat it all the time.
Yeah, I think we've decided that if you can't beat a video game, it's fucking bad, because that's not the point of a video game.
Right. They do it in Spy Kids. They do it in that Fearless movie. They do it in Ralph Breaks the Internet. I'm
they
trying
do
to
it Ready
think.
Player One.
Ready Player One. Yeah, it's not a real
And
thing.
nobody ever thought to go backwards on the track.
Yeah.
Not even once.
Ugh.
Stupid movie. I hated that movie.
The weird thing, almost the worst thing about Ready Player One is that it's pretty good. Like,
Ugh.
that's almost what makes it worse.
I was wondering how I wanted to like let you guys go and get off this, hang session because I'm having a great time. But I feel like I think that just left such a foul taste in my mouth.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us,
Dana,
Dan. We really
you
appreciate it.
rejected it.
Anytime, really. I was very, very happy to be part of this. And I'll friend you guys or whatever here on the Discord.
Yeah.
And if you guys ever want to hang out or talk or have me on again, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, we will take you up on some Cars episodes. I think that sounds like a lot of
fuck
fun.
yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And we could really get philosophical about it.
Yeah. Although, just keep in mind, we are adding a third host who is a friend of ours at some point. So you're going to have to get a read on a whole new person when we do that. But
That's they'll have to get a read on me. I was here first.
They're not trapped in the room with you.
yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you for tuning in, anybody who's still hanging around.
With me.
This was a lot of fun, and I hope we can hang out with Dan again soon. Okay, I am going to end the stream in 3, 2, 1. Goodbye.
Bye.